Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Down on the Sidelines, where we are on episode 12 now. Uh,
Number 12.
Number
Let's
12, we
go.
are approaching week 17, and some major news happened. But as always, here on the home sidelines at Lakeland University, your boy Matt Carley, aka Matty Icy.
Wow, you just had to take the home sideline again. I mean, I guess the times that we go back home, it's technically my sideline because it's my bedroom.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. We just kind of started that. I just started saying that. We kind of just been rolling with it. Unless I could be on the away sideline if you
you want
want
to
me
be
to.
on the away sideline?
Yeah.
Because I want to be on the home
All
sideline
right,
today.
all right. You could
I
be
don't know why.
okay.
I'm
You
just
could be on the
feeling it.
home sideline because since we're going to the game, we're you'll be on the home sideline.
Let's go. Okay. So on the home sideline, not the away sideline, here in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, is Brendan Retzloff, aka 99 Bretts and Bretts.golf. And we'd like to welcome you guys for tuning in to episode number 12 of Down on the Sidelines. We thank all the viewers for tuning in to our previous episodes as well. And I have a special announcement for you, Matt, just before we kick things off here.
Hit me.
So I was in talks with King's Customs,
Ah, yes, our good
and
friend.
I invited him to go on to our podcast, which would be next Wednesday. And he was like, heck yeah, man, I'm down. I think that'd be super cool. So whether it is if we're at home or if we are both in different locations, like remote
Mm-hmm.
locations, I say we end up doing this thing and we get our first guest star on Down on the Sidelines. How does that
I'm
sound?
all for that. I'm gonna be back here at Lakeland, so obviously everything should be okay. Yeah, that'd be super exciting. Obviously, you saw that Christian Watson. I was watching that Packer game on Christmas Day, and all I was looking at was his cleats because I was like, oh, he made those. I know that guy that made those cleats. I went to school with him.
It is super cool to think that like those shoes like were in Miami at that time when
I
at a
know.
previous time they were in his studio like right around our hometown.
I know
Uh,
that's
Actually in our
yeah,
hometown.
in our hometown. That's crazy to think about.
And then like that's where they came from and he drove all the way up to
To Green
Lambeau.
Bay to hand deliver them.
That's super cool. Like King's Customs, keep doing what you're doing.
You are doing
As
so much good
always,
stuff.
I appreciate you doing my golf cleats. They are my most favorite shoes that I've ever had. I'm still waiting to get my first ace with them. But with that being said, I I might want to get another pair done soon, but
I
we'll
think
see what
I think
happens.
because honestly, the Veers knows that. Oh my gosh, Dak Prescott threw another interception. I'm sorry.
Typical Dak Prescott, man.
Well, this
Yes.
one was his fault. So I have both. I have the. So we are currently recording at the time of the Dallas and Tennessee Titans game. We made our predictions beforehand, before we started recording, before the game started. So everything's fine. So it's not like, oh, Dallas is winning. We're just gonna pick them to win. It's actually like we picked them. But yeah. So yeah, this is that one was Dak's fault. The first one really wasn't his fault. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna be watching the game, trying and be like, okay, I gotta see what happens, because I guess like this game actually means a lot. Because if Dallas loses, Philly clinches the
Philly gets the
East.
one seed guarantee. Don't they get the one seed?
No, they
Or no, the
clinched the East.
Vikings.
They clinched the Eagles clinched the East because
I wouldn't
right
be surprised if the
because
Eagles do that anyways.
yeah.
Keep going.
So they just clinched the East. Oh my gosh, Traylon Burks gets down inside the 10 yard line. But no, so if the Cowboys lose, the Eagles clinch the East, so they're guaranteed a playoff spot. Basically, well, they already clinched their playoff berth, but they're guaranteed a top four seed. So that's what this game really means. That's all that really is. Other than that, um, I guess let's just go over the big news that kind of hit over this weekend.
Holy news do we have for you?
Oh gosh, I
Oh,
think we start with our first one about J.J. Watt, since he was
JJ
a
Watt
since
on
he was
Wisconsin.
a former Badger, and obviously you're both in Wisconsin. So I think we kick it off with that. So obviously, if you haven't seen already, J.J. Watt announces that he is retiring after this year. So just
What a career.
for
I
real,
mean,
deserves to be in Creighton.
in Creighton,
Yeah, isn't that where the football?
the univ-
Isn't that where it's located? Isn't that where the Hall of Fame is located?
um, sure.
Cranton, or is it? No, hold on.
Um, as Matt is figuring out his errors,
Canton, Ohio. Not yes,
there it
not
is.
Creighton. That's who you.
Creighton
That's who.
University.
That's who UConn was playing. Anyways, you were saying.
JJ Watt, he had an incredible career. I agree with you 100%. He deserves to be in Canton, Ohio. Um, I mean, just his accomplishments. I don't know if you saw some of his career highlights of like him playing on offense and
He
scoring
scored
three
five
touchdowns
touchdowns.
in one season.
He scored five
But
touchdowns, which was what year? What year was that? You say 2014?
2014,
2014, I do believe. Uh, three on offense and two on defense. One was a pick six. The other was a scoop and score. Then the other three, they had him lined up as a tight end because
yeah, like imagine.
before he. So I don't know if many of you did know this about J.J. Watt. He had a full ride scholarship to Central Michigan as a tight end.
Yes,
But then after his freshman year, he decided that he wanted to go to his dream school, which was Wisconsin-Madison. And so he walked on there, and he changed positions from tight end to defensive end, and the rest is history. So,
I mean, even if he played at tight end, I think this guy still would have been pretty
oh
freaking
my
good.
gosh, he would have been an absolute animal at tight end.
Yeah,
We actually might have a consistent another consistent tight end besides Travis Kelce.
that is very true. I mean, I don't know if he could have gone that far, but I mean, dude, this guy is an animal.
He
So,
is, yeah.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from with that, but I mean, just the things that he did outside of the game of
He
football.
was 2017 Pater Walt. Oh my gosh,
Walter Payton, man of the year.
Walter Payton Man of the Year, because obviously with Hurricane Harvey, he literally was Houston, like Houston Texans was J.J. Watt, and like he deserved to get that because he raises over $7 million, I think.
He has such a heart for the
He
game
is
of
the bit
football,
not
and
only like the game of football, but just for like his community. It's
absolutely,
just
I would say
ridiculous.
like the entire Watt family.
Oh yeah,
I,
they're just super wholesome.
Yeah, and like he is one of those football players that I wish I could meet one day and just like say to him, "Thank you, man." Like not just the fact
Yeah.
that you to Wisconsin, like just thank you for being a great person.
Oh
Because
yeah.
it seems like that's all that he cared about doing, and for how much he cared about the game of football was crazy. Like he did not want to let the fans down, and he even said it.
Yeah.
Like
He's
he was like,
also
even though my team when he was on the Houston Texans, when he said, although my team's like 4-12 right now, we're still gonna play our freaking hearts out in this game because like he believes that it was a privilege to play the game of football. He's like, this is the greatest sport anybody could ever play, or the greatest job anybody could ever have.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, the way he put everything down in that speech that he gave to the press, it was spot on.
It really was. I can't remember. I know what press conference you're talking about, but I can't remember when it was.
Yeah, like he just felt so bad. for the fans of Houston, because this was like a time when Houston was such a struggling franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, they still are, which is unfortunate, but like he was able to save the city of Houston from going into quote unquote like a dumpster fire.
And not only that, when he was drafted, everyone hated him. Fans
I
were
don't know
booing at him.
why.
They, because I think they wanted, because I don't think they had a stable quarterback yet, so I think they wanted a quarterback. And there's like, oh, let's go get a quarterback, but instead we drafted this defensive end, and no one knew why, and they didn't like him. And then he was just like, yeah, like I don't care, like if you boo me, I'm just gonna go out there and prove himself, and he fucking proved himself. 3-time defensive player of the year. I mean, he's has over 200 sacks. He's like one of 5 defensive ends. What was the stat? I saw on ESPN. It was he's one of the defensive ends with over 100 sacks and 5 touchdowns in his career. Something like that.
It's incredible.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
I mean, we
Yeah,
can go on and on with
as you're
JJ.
talking right now, I'm updating my power rankings because I haven't done that yet.
Oh yeah, I did my homework before the podcast, but no, I think yeah. I mean yeah. So we gotta go over our we gotta go over the last week's games as we are currently into week 17. Well, 2 more weeks of football, baby, and then it's playoff time, and then we shall see how that turns out and who's gonna make the Super Bowl.
I am so hyped for it,
I
man.
don't know. I think this is also Monday Night Football's last week 2, I think.
Monday night's last one. I mean, it's gonna be a freaking good one. I would say it's one of
Yes,
the
it
games
is.
of the week.
This is the last Monday night game, and it's the Bills and Bengals. What a way to go out! So
I cannot wait for that game.
that's good. I don't know, because I need Joe Mixon to go off, and I also need the Bills defense to do really good. So yeah.
How are you doing in fantasy football, by the way?
I'm in the fantasy Super Bowl. The guy forgot to take out Derek Henry, and he's out.
Ooh.
Not
might have handed you the win.
not only that, I saw that Tony Pollard was questionable, so I took him out, and he's not playing. So I saved myself there. No, but how our fantasy football league is set up is that the playoffs are 2 weeks. So like you have 2 weeks to score as many points as you can. Then the first week and the second week are just combined scores. I'm projected 135, and other guys projected 95. So it's gonna be interesting because he beat me the first time, and then I beat him the second time, and see about the third time, the one that really matters.
The one that matters.
The one that matters. I was predicted second to last in our league when I drafted my team, and here I am staying at the current 1 seed.
Congratulations,
Thank
man.
you.
I wish I could say the same, but
Every year
unfortunately-
I've done fantasy, I've made it to the Super Bowl. I may not have won all of my Super Bowls, but I've made it to the Super Bowl. First year I ever did fantasy, I joined a random league, and I ended up winning the Super Bowl, so that was fun.
Yeah, I cannot say that, unfortunately. I mean, I wish that I could. Like, my teams over the years, I mean, they've kind of just struggled, and it's
Last
mainly
year
because of
during
injuries.
fantasy, yeah, your team's been riddled with injuries. I know, but
It's pretty unlucky it's pretty bad how unlucky I get when it comes to that game. I honestly don't know if there's that many people who are more cursed than I am when it comes to playing fantasy football. I've never won a championship, and I've only been to like the championship / Super Bowl game once.
yeah. So you remember how we were in that league last year? It was like you, me. I think it was Ben.
A few of my roommates and then some other people from my campus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That each game I lost by a point, and there was one game I lost by 0.1 because Hollywood Brown caught a 6-yard touchdown. If it was 5 yards, I would have won, but no, it was a 6-yard touchdown. He got 40 points that game. Like, all my games were within 4 points, And I was beyond mad because I was like good lord, 3
You
and
were pretty
10.
unlucky that
I
year.
was. That was the
I'll
only
admit.
time I never made the fantasy playoffs. That was the only time. And then I remember I had like a, yeah, it was just so bad. Last year was so bad for me in fantasy. But
Yeah, that's the rant for the fantasy football type of stuff. I just finished
indeed,
my top 10, by the way, so I'm kind of proud of myself
uh,
about that.
that will be
Um,
in next videos, in next episode.
yeah, but about JJ Watt, I mean, I'm happy for the guy. It seems like he's living a good life, and he's definitely had a handful of injuries that he's had to deal with that just haven't seemed like they've been fun. So I understand his move and announcing retirement.
I think
I think
it's
he's
also.
doing what's best for him,
I
and
think.
it's father time.
Yes, I was gonna say that was gonna bring. What I was gonna bring up. He has a daughter now. So it was Koya's first home game and his last home game. That's kind of how he announced it. So obviously he's
Yeah,
not following the Tom Brady path. So
it's a really sweet way of putting it when he made
yeah,
that post. Like that is such a heartwarming and at the same time, like
sad.
sad, heartbreaking moment. But I'm happy for him. I think he's doing what's best for him,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you got to do in your life. You got to feel like you're doing what's best for yourself.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess we can talk about JJ Watt all day. But I guess so. This Sunday we are going up to the Vikings Packer game at Lambeau Field, where this is a huge game for you guys, which is I'm kind of bringing this into our next topic, the Packers playoff scenario. So, I think, do you know their playoff scenario, Brendan?
I have been studying it quite a bit, sir.
So I'll
Yes.
let you talk about that since it's your home team. We're going up there on Sunday. I'll let you explain the scenario that needs to happen for them to make the playoffs.
So
And I'm gonna tell you
the
this right now.
Packers,
It's not gonna be easy.
it is definitely not going to be easy, and it hasn't been easy since I want to say week 12 or week 13 when the Packers were down pretty bad after I believe it was a loss. I don't know what team it was that they lost to. I'm
Was it
trying to
the
remember.
Titans when it was on Thursday night?
Oh, no. I believe it was 2 games before that where things just seemed like they were not ever going to go the Packers'
Oh,
way.
was that when they lost to the Lions when they were 1-6?
Uh, that that was one of the games, but that's not the game that I'm thinking of. I need to look at the Green Bay Packers schedule.
I have all the scores. So this would have been what? Um, so 2 weeks before the Titans game, correct? So the week before they lost to the
Oh,
Lions,
oh yeah. It was
and they
it
lost
was
to the
the Lions
Bills.
game. It was the Lions game. So when the Packers lost 5 straight games, like it was that Lions game where I was just like, okay, we're done. We're out of here. Like
Like
we don't have a chance anymore.
and now you
And now,
guys still kind of do have a chance, but it's gonna be super
yeah.
hard. But anyways,
So to explain what is going on for the Packers and what they
this
need
is
to
the
happen,
easiest way in, may I might add.
the simplest way that the Packers can make it is they need to beat Minnesota and they need to beat Detroit. But then there also needs to be 2 other things that happen, which is the Washington Commanders lose at least 1 game and the Giants lose 2 games.
Oh, they gotta lose
So
both,
the Giants have to lose both games.
and the Giants, they're playing the Colts. So even if you do beat Minnesota, it's not looking really good.
But there are other scenarios that can happen for the Packers to get in. This is what the simplest, so quote unquote, simplest scenario is according to Packers.com. So, like, this is the official website of the Green Bay Packers. It says that there are some very convoluted scenarios whereby the Packers could split their final two games and still make the playoffs. But the bottom line is their chances aren't good that way. They just aren't. Clearly, the focus this week is on beating the Vikings and rooting against Washington and New York. Both those teams play
Oh
in the
gosh.
earlier Sunday window. So the Packers' playoff hopes could kind of be gone by the time this game starts, which I would absolutely freaking hate. I didn't know that the Giants had to lose two games. Like, this
I
is new
thought
to
they had
me.
to lose one of two, not
That's
both.
well, that's really what I thought it was too.
So I'm looking. I'm on New York Times right now. So they have a 29% chance to make the playoffs according to New York Times. If they beat Minnesota, they have a 51% chance. If they lose to Minnesota, they have a 2% chance.
I think the reason that the Giants have to lose two is because the Packers lost to the Giants, but the Packers they also lost to the Commanders, and I believe the Commanders do have a one game under record of the Giants
Yes,
at
it's
7-1.
yeah, because it's the wild card is Dallas, Giants, and then Commanders. The only
Commanders,
reason that Detroit or Seattle isn't in because the Commanders have that one tie with the Giants.
yes.
That's the only reason that they're in the playoffs right now. And I'm not gonna lie, Minnesota facing Washington at home, I like my
I'm kind of
chances.
scared. I
I
mean,
like
I
my
don't know, man.
chances.
Any Minnesota game at this point for me, I'd be like, I don't know, like
Yeah,
just
you could
hope
say it's all luck, but right now you gotta realize, like, okay, they're closing these games. Like, it's the real deal. This isn't luck anymore.
so weird. Like 10, is it 11 games that they've played now, or
11,
is it 10?
11, because they're
It's
12
11.
and 3, and
11 of the games have been one possession games.
they're 11 and 0. So, yeah,
Like I get that that part's the skilled
and
part of it.
Kirk Cousins
It
has leads the NFL of 8 comeback drives. So,
I
definitely
mean,
not in unusual territory.
like I'm not saying that it's luck. I'm just saying it's super, super unusual
And like
that
I
like
said,
the Vikings have been in 11 games where that has happened.
like
11.
I know, like it shouldn't be that. Like we should have beaten some teams more than
The
one score.
Colts.
The Colts, that was an absolute nightmare. You can go back to our earlier episode to listen about my rant about that. But yeah, this is supposed to be about the Vikings. It's supposed to be about the Packers. But yeah,
I'm gonna look at more things about the Packers because I swear there was another playoff scenario for the Packers.
because the other
Um,
ones is that they needed Seattle just to lose, and that had already happened. And then they needed Detroit to lose, but Detroit is technically ahead of them because they have that win in the division over them when they were 1-6. So
Guys. Oh, another thing I just thought about though is so how the seedings go for the wild card. The Packers, they can still get ahead of the Commanders. I still think that they can finish behind the Giants. So if the Giants did end up losing at least one game, or I don't even think the Giants really need to lose. I think it's the Commanders need to lose.
yeah, because
Because
the Giants
now
are
that
a
the Packers
higher
are 7
seed.
and 8. So the Packers are 7-8. The Giants are 8,
Yeah,
6 and
so you're
1.
saying that this is this is if they beat Minnesota, and you're not accounting that if Seattle wins and Detroit wins, because Detroit plays Chicago, and then
Well,
Seattle plays. Let me pull this
here's
up.
the thing. No matter what, if Detroit ends up winning this week, and if the Packers won this week, then Detroit and Green Bay face off for a chance to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, unless Seattle somehow clinches a wild card.
How can Seattle clinch? What's Seattle's record at
They're
now?
seven
Isn't
and
it
eight.
7-8? Seattle's been on a complete downfall in the second half of
They
the
really
season.
haven't, so that's why I don't have much hope. Oh, they play the Chiefs. Yeah, that's not gonna look good. So
So
let's see how.
according to according to the Milwaukee Journal, the easiest way into the playoffs for the Packers would be for Washington to lose once more and Green Bay wins out.
Yeah,
That's
Green Bay needs to
all it
win.
says.
But
It
here's the
doesn't
thing.
say anything about the Giants.
But here's the thing. I think in order to make the playoffs, you guys need to win out. If you lose one, you're not in.
Oh, if the Cowboys lost, then it's wraps.
Wraps.
That's what it says in the Milwaukee Journal. So it says Dallas 11-4 could be guaranteed the number 5 seed based on what happens next week. If Philadelphia beats New Orleans or
Which they
Cowboys
will.
lose to the Tennessee Titans, then it's wraps. I don't understand. Okay, it continues to say the thing about the 1 seed that we were talking about earlier. So Packer fans should be hoping for New Orleans and Dallas wins. I don't know why that really matters though.
Well, because I don't know why. Because Philly
It
is
says it
13-2.
It says that's bad news for Green Bay since the Cowboys would theoretically rest their starters in that finale against Okay. Got it.
Ooh, that might be interesting.
I didn't think about that. Teams resting their starters so other teams could
So
possibly
that's
get
why I'm
in.
saying. Because my grandparents are asking. He's like, "Oh yeah, Minnesota won't start their stars." Like, first off, they're going to start Justin Jefferson no matter what. I think because that's how they win games. And
Yeah.
secondly, he's 204 yards from breaking Calvin Johnson's record, but he's 244 yards from hitting that 2,000 marker, which will be the first player in NFL history to do.
He's gonna do it. 100%.
He averages 104 yards a game.
I can see this guy popping off this week against the Packers. I can see it.
Yeah, he's going to be against the Packers, who hasn't been like very good with their pass defense. And then Chicago.
Going into the freaking season, all the experts were saying like the Packers were supposed to be like one of the best defenses in the NFL, and
It's
I've
the
not
exact
seen that
opposite.
yet.
No, it's
Like I'm not saying their defense is bad. Like
they're a below average defense, I'll say.
And then like the news about like Tua getting that concussion.
Yeah, he's concussion.
Like,
He's done for the year. That's what I forgot to add that in there. I completely forgot about that. That's huge though because he suffered that in the first half, which you can clearly see. And then after that, he was just off for the rest of the game.
I would kiss the playoff hopes for the Dolphins and the Jets.
Dolphins
goodbye.
and Jets are kind of.
Maybe the Patriots too.
Patriots, I would still have a chance with.
The AFC East was like
super
in domination mode, and then all of a sudden the Dolphins and the Jets kind of just fell.
Patriots are kind of They haven't been too much special, but
that Patriots game against the Bengals, let me tell you, that was something.
Jacoby
the Patriots
Myers
could have won.
Yeah, that was a super closer. That was a closer game than I was expecting.
It was a pretty controversial call. Towards the end of that one, that I want to go over a little bit later. I'm still reading about the Packers stuff though, but like, the Packers be eliminated even with a win over Minnesota? No, the Packers would remain alive in the season finale. Will the Packers be eliminated with a loss to Minnesota? Yes, no duh. Wait, It says not necessarily.
Like I said earlier, like they have like a 2% chance. Like they need then they need to win against Detroit, and everything else needs to happen. Like they need more things.
They need the Giants to like suck.
Yeah,
in some way.
And a lot of things. You guys would just have a lot more things going on. So
it says if the Packers lost, for their chance to reach the playoffs at that point, Washington would have to lose its final 2 games. In the event the Lions beat the Bears and the Packers lose to the Vikings, Green Bay could still tie Detroit at 8-9. If the Packers rebound to beat the Lions in the finale, but Detroit would have the edge on tiebreakers with a better record against teams in the division.
Oh, division. So isn't it goes overall record, then it goes division, and then conference record, I do believe.
Yeah, it goes by division and then conference. Yes.
Gotcha.
So then it says with a Seattle win next week, and if the Packers won, Seattle would still be ahead of Green Bay in the
Mm-hmm.
standings. Um, though Seattle could lose in the final week against the Rams to also finish in 9, the
Yeah.
Packers would have the edge on the tiebreaker because since they're both NFC opponents, they're not in the same division. It goes by record in the NFC by opponents.
Yeah, so that's where that comes in then. I just saw something about that a couple of days ago. Or no, it was this morning. Because they're saying that so Packers are favored against the Vikings, which is ridiculous.
I can kind of see it. The Packers, they've kind of
They've been on a 3-game
found a
winning
giddy.
streak.
They've kind of found a giddy up in their step. I would say that.
I still don't think that. I think it's just it's a 3-game winning streak against. Who did you guys beat? You beat the Dolphins with a concussed Tua. You beat the Rams by 12.
Hey, do you see what the Rams did to the Broncos?
That's also the Broncos.
Do you know who you picked in that football game?
I know, we don't talk about it. And then you beat the Bears. So, not very good teams that you guys been winning. The Bears, who are 3-12. Rams, who are 5-11, I do believe now. And then
5-11.
And then the Dolphins, who are 8-8 on a downfall for brain dead Tua.
I don't know, man. I feel like things are going the Packers' way, and I also feel like things are going to be going the Buccaneers' way.
Yeah, the Buccaneers won. They're winning in for them.
And it's going to happen, even though they had an ugly game against Arizona on Christmas Day. But
yeah,
to wrap up the Packers' playoff scenarios, so if the Packers lost and then they would beat the Lions to finish 8-9, they would need Washington to lose its final 2 games. Detroit needs to lose to the Bears on Sunday. And then Seattle has to lose to the Rams in the finale. And then the NFC South has to stay the way that it is.
Yeah, so basically if Minnesota beats Green Bay and then Detroit beats Chicago, you guys are out then, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so those are the 2 big games. Really, you guys gotta worry about that Detroit game.
I mean, I'm worried about both games.
I mean, yeah, they're both NFC North matchups, obviously, and I mean, Detroit, honestly, they got steamrolled, but they're gonna be hungry against the Bears.
Yeah, so that's the news about the Green Bay Packers and their playoff scenario. So we've gone over J.J. Watt, the Green Bay Packers.
And let's talk about.
Let's go to Las Vegas.
What the fuck is happening over there? You're still
in Vegas, stays in Vegas, baby.
Yeah, but
except it doesn't.
It doesn't because Derek Carr got benched. And not many people know why. People are saying, maybe to keep him healthy. It's like, well, you guys are in the hunt. You're sitting at 6-8, I think. Not entirely sure. Maybe 7-9.
Raiders, they are in the hunt.
They are not
eliminated.
They are in the hunt, so they still have a chance. But then people are saying, they're benching him so they can tank for a draft pick, which could also be possible, but at the same time, I'm just like, that's so stupid. This has been your franchise quarterback for the past 9 years.
I don't understand this move, and I don't know if you heard more news after.
I heard about it. He left the organization. He left. He left. So
that franchise right now under some pretty hot water.
And Adams, don't be surprised if he requests a trade.
Oh my gosh, there are so many people. Devontae Adams made a post last
He
night.
was
I don't
sticking
know if
up
you
for
saw.
Derek Carr, but he literally said, "Fuck the Raiders."
Yes, he was like, I would do anything to play with this guy, but he's like,
He was the
but with
whole reason
this
that he went
organization,
to Las
fuck
Vegas.
no.
He was the reason that he went to Las Vegas because of Derek Carr.
It was all of the news that went down in the NFL in the past 28 hours,
It's been ridiculous.
something like that. I have not seen that much news about week 17 or going into week 17 in a very long time that doesn't even have to do with the playoffs.
No, like
Like it has to do with team issues, and I I can't even get started on this. And I mean, honestly, speaking of team issues, I totally forgot to watch the rest of
Hard
um,
Knocks.
Hard Knocks on the Cardinals. I've kind of gone into a hiatus on that show because I mean the way the Cardinals are right now, I don't even know if it's necessary to watch.
I don't think
Like,
so.
like maybe if they were in a playoff hunt, I would watch.
Yeah, but they're not.
Um,
They suck.
yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna watch that anymore. But yeah, Derek Carr is gone,
What a way to. They're saying that
and
he's going to go to either Miami or possibly Indianapolis, which God, pray to God that he doesn't.
Indianapolis is turning into a dumpster fire
Oh my gosh, Nick
as
Foles
we
was awful.
speak.
Nick Foles was awful.
I totally forgot that even played.
Yeah, same here. He had that one phenomenal playoff run back in 2017, and then he just, all right, I got my ring. I defeated Tom Brady. Time to go sleeping. Time to go night night.
Big Dick Nick turned into nothing.
Yeah. Oh, also, I just want to
Yep.
point out that in the Thursday night game, Malik Willis is not starting as Joshua Dobbs.
That was one of the crazier things that I noticed too. I was like, why the frick are they sitting this guy and starting this guy?
Malik Willis
Like,
is not a good quarterback. He was so overhyped in college, I think, in my opinion. He
popped off in
is.
the preseason too, which like
He
made
did
the hype
not
crazy.
do good. Like,
I,
Dobbs
I-
was like a preseason legend. So,
like
from what I've seen and heard.
I heard it the other way around. I heard Malik Willis was insane in the preseason. Like this guy was looking like the next Lamar Jackson because he was able to run the ball like crazy, and he actually made passes down the field. Yeah,
Yeah,
surprise!
remember when we
He throws
covered
the
that?
football.
Remember when we covered that Chiefs and Titans game? And
Oh
Malik
my,
Willis threw for a whopping like 9 times.
yeah, and Mahomes threw the ball like 70 times.
Yeah, it was like ridiculous.
I can't. Didn't that game go into overtime or something?
No.
I thought it was
Oh,
really
Hold on,
close.
Joshua Dobbs. He got drafted in 17 through 19 was with the Steelers, 2019 with the Jags, 2021 with the Steelers, and he's been on the Browns, the Lions practice squad, and now he's starting for the Titans tonight.
He's played a couple of games.
And that was
from what
presented to
I
you
remember.
by Thursday Night Football.
Thank you, Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit.
Yes.
Always appreciate them being on the call.
Yeah.
I I don't really know much about the Tennessee Titans and how things are going for them, but I mean,
They're
the
7-8.
Jaguars are
They've been
stealing
on
the
a
division from them.
yeah, they're on a 3 or 5 game losing streak. It's not very good.
I really wish the Packers would have got that win against them. That would have
Yeah.
made me feel better about Green Bay.
But I think it's time to move on to our game recaps of week 16.
Good call. Good call.
So I think we'll venture into last week's game. The Jacksonville Jaguars at the Jets. And as we know, I had picked the Jaguars and Brenden had picked the Jets. I went with the upset. Jets were predicted by 2.5. And Jaguars won 19-3. I'll go over the Jaguars stats because I'm on the away sideline. So, Trevor Lawrence threw for 20 for 31, 229 yards, and no touchdowns. Travis Etienne had 22 carries for 83 yards, got him to exactly 1,000 yards on the year. And then Trevor Lawrence also rushed 7 times for 51 yards and got a rushing touchdown. Evan Ingram led the team with 7 receptions, 113 yards. Devin Lloyd had an interception. Devon Hamilton had a sack. Andre Cisco, Roy Robertson Harris had a sack as well.
All right, we get it. The Jaguars did way better.
Well, I'm just pointing out
than
the
New York
important
Jets.
stats.
I get it.
And something really weird happened in this game. I'll let you go over the home stats.
All right, so for the losing New York Jets, who I chose to win for God knows what reason, the leading passer is actually number 15, Chris Streveler.
Actually, it was Zach Wilson. I don't know why they had on my screen. It says that Zach Wilson threw for 92 and Streveler threw for 90.
That is true. Although Zach Wilson threw an interception,
He got benched.
Makes the passer rating go down like heck. And Zach Wilson only went 9 for 18 passing for 92 yards and that interception. As for Streveler, you went 10 for 15 for the 90 yards and nothing else going for them. And then leading and rushing is also Chris Streveler. Congratulations for 9 carries, 54 yards. Ty Johnson in second with 2 carries for 7 yards. And let's talk about Zonovan Knight, number 27. I started this guy on my fantasy team.
Oh, no!
6 carries for negative 2 yards. Fantastic.
How many?
Go ahead.
Oh, never mind. He got your points back.
I kind of got my points back.
You got 0.5.
Yeah. So in receiving, Michael Carter was the leading receiver. 5 receptions, 44 yards. And we'll go all the way down to my guy, Zonovan Knight. 1 reception for 15 yards.
So he got you a whopping 0.5.
It was a PPR league. So yeah, it actually got me that extra point. So it'd be 2.5 minus the 0.2 it was.
Oh yeah, it's not 2 points.
Yep. So he had 2.3. Yeah. He played amazing.
He balled out. Yeah, so you didn't watch this game. I was watching this. Zach Wilson got benched like in the second quarter. Streveler is like their emergency quarterback. It's their 4th stringer, if you want to call it. So he was their emergency because Mike White was out for the rib injuries. He's going to be starting for the remainder of the year. And then they didn't put in Joe Flacco, which kind of surprised me. I don't know why they didn't do that, but they said, "Hey, let's just throw this guy out here."
Is Joe Flacco just irrelevant now?
Except I think
that's
so.
Purdy. But what the? I don't understand. The Jets blew their playoff chances.
They really did
by losing this game, and from what it seems like, they just did not play well, and the weather was really bad too.
Yes, the weather was horrific.
I'm not gonna say that the weather was the reason that they lost. The Jets were just god awful.
Yeah.
On offense, I don't know how they performed defensively. We'll take a look here. Defense, C.J. Mosley led the team in tackles with 9. But that's C.J. Mosley. He's pretty darn good. Otherwise, yeah, the Jets. Okay, Quinnen Williams, he had a sack. That's it. And then Greg Zuerlein, he made a field goal. That's their only 3 points.
Yeah, so this wasn't that much of an exciting game. It was a lot of field goals. But it was kind of exciting in the sense that we got to see a emergency quarterback play quarterback, and all they really did was like run read options and like QB draws. It was like super.
Sounds like a
It
sounds like
was.
Madden.
It literally was Madden. It was super. It was interesting.
Oh, that sounds just like the old Amro High School offense
Oh yes,
back in the day, where they always did the QB draws
they
in
still
the
do that.
shotgun formation or the pistol. Yeah,
They still do that.
they definitely still do that, even though I don't watch any of it anymore.
No.
Um, yeah, so the final in this one, 19-3. Moral of the story: Jaguars look like they're gonna steal the division, and the Jets
Depending how it
are
goes right
gonna fall
now.
apart.
Because if the Titans win right now, they Titans
They're
win.
Philly's back.
Yeah, and the Titans just scored a touchdown.
Oh
So
wow! What's
yeah,
the score?
it right now it is currently 17-12, awaiting the extra point.
Wow, I'm shocked that Dallas is struggling right now against them.
Dak has not been playing well. Anyways, moving on to our next game, we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Baltimore Ravens. This
Woo, we both got this game right.
Yes, we both picked Baltimore. I picked them 30-20. You picked them 13-10. Ravens end up winning 17-9. And on the away sideline for the Falcons, the Desmond Ritter started 22 for 33, 218 yards, nothing too special. For rushing, Tyler Algier, 18 carries for 74 yards. I have a predicament because I have Algier and Patterson on my fantasy team, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Right now, I have Patterson.
Algier.
I have
I would
Patterson
start
in right now.
Algier this week.
All right. So then Drake London had 7 receptions for 96 yards. Nothing on defense, no sacks, no interception. Richie Grant led the team in tackles of 7. And Young Ho Koo, 3 for 3 on field goals, scored a whopping all his 9 points.
Woohoo! I mean,
Also about this,
used to be my fantasy
yeah.
kicker.
Also, Lamar Jackson is out for Sunday, so
True.
Tyler Huntley
That's another thing in the
is
news.
still the starter. Carry on.
And speaking of Tyler Huntley, in the Baltimore Ravens winning game against the Falcons, where they scored 17 points, Tyler Huntley, he went 9 for 17, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Nothing special. Gus Edwards led the team in rushing, 11 carries, 99 yards, followed by J.K. Dobbins with 12 carries for 59 yards. The Ravens have a pretty good 1-2 punch.
Yeah, Edwards and
when
Dobbins.
it comes to running.
Dobbins.
And then don't forget about either Huntley or Lamar Jackson. Like once Lamar Jackson's healthy, he can run it too.
Oh yeah, we all know that.
So then leading the team in receiving, tight end Mark Andrews, 3 receptions, 45 yards. But the player who got the touchdown for the Ravens was Demarcus Robinson, number 10, 1 reception for 6 yards. I don't know why I said carry. Roquan Smith led the team in tackles, followed by
Wait,
Ron
hold
Huntley.
on. I see Sammy Watkins, and I also see Deshaun Jackson. Since when did Deshaun Jackson play for the Ravens?
Oh, Deshaun Jackson. I think he's been on them for over a year already.
I don't know. I didn't know that. I knew that
Deshaun
Sammy Watkins
Jackson-
went back.
Deshaun Jackson is like, oh my gosh.
He's old.
How old is he?
He's so old. He needs to retire.
It's such a great name, though. Every time you see Deshaun Jackson on like a score chart, you're like, oh shit, this guy again.
He's still around?
It's like Frank Gore.
Bro, I really wish his son got drafted so they could play together. That would have been awesome.
Oh my gosh, that would have been amazing. I didn't even know that Sammy Watkins went to the Ravens right after he got dropped.
He did, yeah.
and he got 1 reception for 40 yards.
That's more
More
production.
there than Green Bay.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Jeez.
Yeah, we didn't. I didn't watch this game. Don't really know much
Yeah,
what really went on.
I didn't really watch either. Justin Tucker went 3 for 4 kicking.
Yeah,
I believe Justin Tucker missed 3 straight field goals.
he did. He's my fantasy kicker.
But he got 9 points for the team. And then the Ravens obviously got their touchdown, which gave them the W.
Mm-hmm.
So, on to the next game. This was on Christmas Eve.
Detroit at Carolina. So, we both picked Detroit. We were both wrong. Panthers steamrolled them 37-23. So, yeah, going on the away sideline here, you have Jared Goff, 25 for 42, 355 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
There's some good numbers.
And get this. I mean, yeah, that's a very good day for him.
I swear, he could have been in the Pro Bowl this year. I'm not joking.
I think he's an alternate.
That would make sense. It just seems like he'd be that. Yeah. He played that well for that position.
And for rushing, the lead rusher was Jared Goff, 3 carries for 15 yards.
Frick that crap. I started DeAndre Swift that week.
Well, he had 4 carries for 12 yards, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, he got me less points than freaking Zonovan Knight, I think. That's so bad.
That's rough. Anyways, for receiving, you have DJ Chark, 4 receptions for 108 yards. And my boy, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 receptions, 76 yards. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Shane
Zylstra, I think that's how you say it.
Tight end, I think.
No, he's a receiver.
He's one of the tight ends.
No, he's a receiver. He's super fast. 5 receptions, 26 yards for 3 touchdowns. Yeah.
I thought you were going to scroll down to the defense. And
I am. There's nothing on the defense. I mean...
I thought you were going to say the lead tackler's name.
Shut up. Ifudu Miawanwu led the team with 6 tackles. Yeah. Michael Badgley, 1 for 1 on field goals and 2 for 2 for extra points.
We'll go quick with the home sideline here. Sam Darnold, 15 for 22, 250 yards and a touchdown. Check this out here. Rushing yards, Donta Foreman.
Oh my gosh.
Hubbard almost had a total of 300 rushing yards combined in this football game. They had a total of 290, actually. Foreman had 21 carries for 165 yards and a touchdown. And Chua had 12 carries for 125 yards. Sam Darnold, he had a rushing touchdown in this one.
That wasn't a rushing touchdown. That was not a rushing touchdown.
I didn't watch any of this game.
He had fumbled it. And he had fumbled it on the 2-yard line and went in the end zone and he rolled onto it.
Did he recover it?
He recovered it, yeah.
Yeah, then it's a rushing touchdown.
No, it's just called fumble recovery in the end zone for a touchdown. Anyway.
Make that a statistic, though.
Yes.
But leading the team receiving, DJ Moore, as per usual for this team, 5 receptions, 83 yards, and the touchdown. As for the defense, 3 players, both had 5 tackles. And Eddie Pinheiro went 3 for 3 on field goals.
Yeah, so I was surprised by this one. I was surprised how much Carolina dominated and how much Detroit struggled in this one.
Very shocked.
I was at a loss where I was like, wow, this cannot be happening. But it happened, so.
Yeah, I didn't expect any game to be like that, especially after we both had the Lions in our top 10s.
Yeah, they had won, 6 of their last 7. Now it's 6 of their last 8.
We might have cursed them.
I hope we
We
didn't.
might have.
We might have blessed the Niners and cursed the Lions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but anyways, going on to our next game, we have Seahawks at Kansas City. We both had the Chiefs. Chiefs ended up winning 24-10. I had them winning 27-24. You had them 28-21. It was, so two-score game.
24-10.
I didn't know they weren't going to score over 30, but it was for the most part, I think it was a pretty good game. So for the Seattle stats, Geno Smith, 25 for 40, 215 yards, 1 touchdown and an interception. Leading in rushing is Kenneth Walker, 26 carries for 104 yards. For receiving, leading the receivers is DK Metcalf, 7 catches for 81 yards. And then Noah Fant, 2 receptions, 12 yards, and a touchdown. And Laquan Treadwell, that is a name that I hate. Then for defense, Jordan Brooks, 5 tackles. Darrell Taylor, 1 sack. And that is it. And then Jason Myers, 1 for 1, 22 yards, and scored 4 points.
And then on the home sideline, for the 12-3 Chiefs, who won, Patrick Mahomes, 16 for 28, 224 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a type of game. And then Isaiah Pacheco led the team in rushing, 14 carries, 58 yards. What the hell happened to
McKinnon?
No. I mean, yes, McKinnon, but also like the guy who they had the past 2 years.
Oh, Edwards-Helaire?
Yeah, what happened to Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
He's injured. I think he's on IR.
I don't think he got injured. I thought they just kind of gave up on him because he didn't do anything good for them. If you want to look that up, you can. It'd be nice to get some help on that research.
Yes, sir.
Leading the team in receiving, Travis Kelce, 6 receptions, 113 yards. The touchdowns on the receiving end came from Jerick McKinnon. He had 3 receptions, 31 yards for the touchdown. And
he's still on the Chiefs. He's still on the Chiefs.
Is he injured?
Yeah, he's on IR.
What type of injury does he have?
The
one where he sits on the
high ankle sprain.
Oh.
So pretty serious then.
I didn't know that then. That's interesting. So for the defense, Nick Bolton, 8 tackles, led the team in the tackles. And then Harrison Butker, he went 1 for 1 with a 47-yard field goal. And that's how the Chiefs got to 24 points and the W.
Yes, didn't really watch this game as much. A lot of these games we don't really watch because, I have NFL Plus. It's not worth it.
And then, I only really watched 1.5 football games on Saturday, maybe 2 football games.
I gotta remember which ones I watched. I think I watched
it was the Vikings.
Yeah, I did too.
And the Giants.
Yeah, so that was that score. But going on to our next game.
Saints at Browns.
Yes, where we are both wrong on this one. We ended up choosing the Browns. I said 21-17. You said 2017. Saints won 17-10.
I don't know what it is about my 20-17 predictions, but they've always been the wrong team.
They really have been.
I don't know if you're seeing that on our sheet. But you also had 2017 Broncos on the.
I don't know. It's like the most common score.
And we're wrong.
I know. Anyways.
I think that's funny. I just think that's something funny to point out there.
Anyways, it was snowing. It was cold in Cleveland. Andy Dalton, 8 for 15, 92 yards and an interception. Alvin Kamara, 20 for 76 yards and a touchdown. He got you 13 fantasy points in rushing alone there, fantasy owners, so be thankful. Taysom Hill, 9 carries, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Rashad Shaheed, 4 receptions, 41 yards. Tyrann Matthew led the game with tackles of 6, and Daniel Sorensen with a interception. Carl Granderson with a sack, along with David Onyemata had a half sack, along with Contavious Street with the other half.
You're using your pronunciations pretty well on the players today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then Will Lutz, 1 for 1, 5 points, as long as it was 23 yards.
Nice. And for the losing team on the home sideline, please bench Deshaun Watson for the life of me.
Yes, can we start Jacoby Brissett?
They need to. They were playing well with him, and all of a sudden they're sucking again. Deshaun went 15 for 31, 135 yards, and an interception. And then Nick Chubb led the team in carries and yards, 24 carries, 92 yards. Sean Watson, he did have a rushing touchdown, 3 carries for 24 yards and that. And then Amari Cooper, he finally gets to lead the team in receiving with Deshaun Watson being the quarterback, where he had 6 receptions for 72 yards. As for the defense, Reggie Ragland led the team in tackles. Grant Delpit, he had an interception in this one. And then Cade York went 1 for 1 on field goals.
Yes. I'm sorry, I just opened up Instagram. The first thing is Throwback Thursday when Adam Thielen got loose on a fake punt in Green Bay.
Oh, is that what you shared with me?
Yes, I was at that game when that happened. I remember watching that. And he was actually running towards me, so that was a very fun. My dad asked me, "Hey, who's this guy?" I'm just like, "I don't know him. I don't know who he is." And now I know him with all my heart. Anyways, back to the Saints and Browns. Boring game.
I didn't watch any of this game. I was expecting it to be a boring game.
Oh my! I should have picked up Dalton Schultz.
Is he popping right now?
Yeah, he has 2 touchdowns. I was thinking about picking him up, but I was like, I have Njoku going, and he got a second touchdown. Oh, I should have picked him up. I picked up the Chiefs' defense against the Broncos, so we'll see how that holds up. Anyways, yeah, this was a super boring game. Nick Chubb didn't do any. Well, he almost had 100 yards. He got me 9.2 points. But another boring game in a cold weather.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the reasons I didn't really watch this one. And there's another really good game that was going on at that same time. And there are actually 2 really good games going on at that same time.
Yes, I think this is one of them.
I wanted to be tuned into.
And this is going to be the next one.
This was one of them, but I did not tune into this one.
It was the... Oh, wait, where? Oh, Bengals... Oh, hold on. We skipped one. We skipped one.
Didn't we?
We skipped the Texans. My bad.
Yeah, like this one, it was a good game. I kept track of what was going on in the 4th quarter because the Texans, they were putting up a fight in this one.
And they won. They won.
And they won.
I picked Tennessee. I was like, there's no way. And Tennessee pooched it.
I almost got this game right.
Yeah, 21-14 is what Brenden had. Actual score was 19-14. I'll give the stats for the winning team. Davis Mills, 17 for 28, 178 yards, and even it out with an interception and a pick. Royce Freeman, 16 carries for 32 yards. Damian Pierce did not have any carries at all. Interesting. Philip Dorsett, 3 receptions, 45 yards, and then Brandon Cooks, 4 receptions, 34 yards, and the touchdown. Jalen Petrie, 7 tackles, led the team outside of interception. Christian Harris, 5 tackles, also for interception. Agabonino Akarakwa with 5 tackles and 2 sacks. Jonathan Owens with a sack. Blake Cashman with a sack. And that is it for the defense. And for kicking, Kaima Fairbarn with 2 for 2, longest 25 yards and 7 points.
I'm pretty sure you had to pronounce one of those guys' names one other time too. It might have been a different guy, but the last name does look familiar. The number 45.
Yep. I was going to say, I think that's a pretty familiar name. I think we said that earlier in the year, and I didn't like it.
It's familiar because it's very tough to pronounce.
You
did okay at that one again.
Speaking, Cincinnati has an 11% chance of winning the Super Bowl. Bills and the Chiefs have the highest with 19.
Oh, wow.
Eagles have a 17.
Cincinnati?
Yeah, they have an 11% chance. Anyways.
I thought you said 21.
I was like, 11.
Right. That makes more sense now.
11.
Got it.
Anyways, talk about the Titans.
Anyways, yes. So Malik Willis, he went 14 for 23, 99 yards, 2 interceptions.
And this is why he's not playing tonight, folks.
And then Derrick Henry led the team in rushing. As you said, he'd run over the Texans, and that he did.
He did, but they didn't win.
126 yards and a touchdown. And then Malik Willis had 7 carries for 43 yards and a touchdown. Go ahead.
Derrick Henry is not playing in tonight's game. He's out, as I said earlier.
Derrick Henry is not playing. Does he have an ankle injury? Was that what it was?
I'm not entirely sure.
From what I can
think
remember,
it is, though.
I believe it was an ankle injury. So leading the team in receiving in that game was Robert Woods, 4 receptions for only 30 yards. Not very good for receiving because Malik Willis can't pass. And then for defense, Monty Rice had 7 tackles. He led the team. And then Jack Gibbons, he had an interception in this one, as well as 4 other tackles. And Danico Autry, he had a sack, the lone sack for the Titans. And that's all she wrote in Tennessee.
Yeah, this one. You said you were calling this the upset of the week, and you got it. And
I was feeling pretty darn good about it.
And I was going to go with you because Texans were putting up a really good fight. And I was like, it's the Titans. Derrick Henry will run over them, which he did. And then it was the exact opposite.
I just knew that Ryan Tannehill wouldn't be playing in the game.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, why I made that.
I was feeling pretty confident with my pick going into it, but I'm like, yeah, this is my upset of the week.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, now I feel stupid.
And now with the way that went, don't feel stupid, buddy. It's all right.
To be fair,
it's just one football game.
Our scores this week were ridiculously good. Like our pick'ems were like super good.
I don't know how we managed to do this well. Like Christmas Day, oh my god.
I got 2 wrong. That was it.
Yeah, and the one of got wrong was wrong pretty bad.
Which one was yours? Your wrong one?
I don't think I got any wrong on Christmas. I got none wrong on Christmas.
No,
Matt.
You got them all wrong. Merry Christmas. I got 2 wrong. But yeah, that was definitely the upset. That I was now that you said that, now looking back, I definitely should have taken Houston.
I mean, it's one of those games that seems like it could be a toss-up. You
know? That's fair.
But then, at the same time, I can get where you're coming from on it and how you're a little upset with yourself that you didn't pick them. But then, as for the news in the NFL, though, with the Tennessee Titans, with them falling to 7-8 now, I mean, that really opened a lot of leeway for
because
the
Jacksonville's the
Jacksonville
4 seed
Jaguars.
now. Jacksonville Jaguars are the 4 seed.
Yeah.
And
Jacksonville showing off Duval, I
yeah,
guess.
and Dallas is, I don't know if they're playing their starters because a lot of their guys are getting injured right now. So two already had to be carted off. So
Oh, man.
yeah. But anyways, going into our next game, we had the Cincinnati Bengals at the Patriots.
And this was one of the better
This
games
was. We both picked
that I watched.
Cincinnati. I had them winning 30-17. You had them 31-14. They won 22-18.
Yeah,
Kicking it off.
yeah,
What?
you can go ahead and talk
Yeah,
about the
kicking off
Bengals.
on the Cincinnati side, Joe Burrow, 40 for 52. That's a pretty impressive stat. 375 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Joe Mixon led the team in rushing, 16 carries, 65 yards. Receiving, T. Higgins, 8 receptions, 128 yards, and a touchdown. And Trenton Irwin, who's been kind of coming on for these past couple of weeks, 3 catches, 45 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now on defense, Logan Wilson led the team in tackles with 7 and also a sack. Cameron Sample also had a sack. Josh Tupou had a sack. And then Zach Carter had half a sack, as well as Joseph Asia with a sack. No interceptions by Mac Jones. And Evan McPherson, 1 for 2. His longest was 28 yards, and he scored 4 points.
And then on the home sideline for the New England Patriots, Mac Jones, he went 21 for 33, 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leading the team in rushing was Ramondre Stevenson, 13 carries, 30 yards, and Kendrick Bourne followed him with 1 carry for 29 yards. And speaking of Kendrick Bourne, he led the team in receiving, 6 receptions, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Jacoby Myers also scored a touchdown off of a pretty crazy Hail Mary
Hail
looking
Mary throw,
play.
yeah. It's
And
funny.
speaking of Hail Marys,
Did you see what Bill Belichick said about that? They asked us
I
like,
did not
so they
see
said
what he
that.
said.
So you know how in Oakland they said like, oh, he didn't have the
He
arm.
couldn't throw it 55 yards
Yeah,
or
so it was a
whatever.
49
Yeah.
yard touchdown Hail Mary, and they asked him, so why did you call that? He literally says, because he can throw that far. So it's like, okay, so it's like 5 yards. Okay, so
Yeah, he can throw the ball 50. He can throw it 51, 52, 53,
54,
but
but not
not
55.
55.
That's
But then
like,
he can throw it 56.
yeah, but yeah, but
It's
not
just,
like 55 is just the magic number.
it must be, I guess. But I mean, it was pretty cold there. So, like, the pass is kind of wobbly a little bit. And, like,
Yeah, it was off a deflection too, which is
in
how you're supposed to play it.
Vegas, you're in a warmer, humid dome where the ball is going to fly a lot easier. So, like, I still don't believe that Belichick's reasoning for that dumb play is accurate. I'm surprised he didn't get as much backlash and hate on that, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I'm a little bit surprised too. I was like, okay, you basically contradicted yourself.
Yeah. I don't know why no one in the media really talked about that. But carrying forward, leading the team on defense, Marcus Jones, what a day he had.
Let's.
13 tackles and an interception. And I
I
believe
think it was a
he
pick
was the one
six.
with the pick 6.
Yeah, so he had a pick six. He's the only player in NFL history to have a pick six, a receiving touchdown, a punt return touchdown, and a fumble recovery touchdown, I do believe.
In a season.
In a season, yes.
I did see that statistics. You are correct on that one. And then Matthew Judon, he had a sack in the game. Same for Joshua Uke. He had 1 sack. Devin McCourty, he had an interception. And that's the stat line on the defense for the Patriots. And then Nick Folk, he
Didn't
did
do
not
anything.
pick for the Patriots. So, yeah, that led to their 18 points. And I want to talk about the controversy in this game. Towards the end of the game, the Patriots, they had a chance to score the game-winning touchdown with like within the 2-minute warning
Weren't
sometime.
they in like Cincinnati's like
They got
red
to the
zone?
5-yard line. They
Yeah.
got to the Cincinnati 5-yard line. Ramondre Stevenson carries the ball. His progress gets stopped, but they let the play keep going, and he ends up fumbling the ball, and the Bengals recovered,
Mm.
which basically led to the end of the game and the final score being what the final score was. So the controversy is that with his forward progress being stopped, should have the refs blown the whistle. I don't know if you saw this play or not.
I knew he
But
fumbled, but I didn't know
it was a
when.
pretty key play in the game. And honestly, I thought that the refs should have blown the whistle. It would have been ruled, I believe it was second or third down,
Maybe
and
they
at like
should have had the refs
6-yard
from the
line.
Colts game, from the Colts Vikings game.
They probably had those refs there.
Well, then the
Oh,
forward progress would have been stopped.
I mean, you're not wrong about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, another thing about this game is the Bengals, they're in complete control in this first half. My goodness. It looked like they're gonna just blow out the Patriots because at halftime, I believe the score was 22-0.
Was it
And then all of
really?
a sudden, Joe Burrow throws the 2 interceptions, the 1 pick six. Patriots right back in it. Games 22-18. Patriots marching down the football field. Final 2 minutes. Then that play happens, and then the game ended up being what it was. So the Bengals gave me a little bit of a scare because I had them at my 1 seed. So I mean,
it's season is we fun to see. I think we're gonna record on Saturday, but see, I want to know who your number one is because I got mine. I think it might surprise you a little bit.
dude, I know I just made my list. I can't even remember who I put at my 1 spot.
Wow. All right. Moving on from that game, we have the New York
Very
Giants
great
at the
game.
Minnesota Vikings. We
Do
both
you want to talk about your Vikings on this one?
actually I would love to. So we both picked Minnesota. We were right. I said 30-28, and you said 23-20. Vikings win
And
it
overtime.
in overtime. Vikings win it 27-24. I'll let can you do the Giants stats so I can do the Vikings stats.
Yes, sir.
I will say this wasn't like a game where the Vikings got out to a 3-score game and then they blew it, then they had to come back. This was a very back and forth game the whole time.
Yes, this
It
game
was
stayed tight.
it was a tight game throughout the whole game. Like obviously Giants are the current 5 seed, so you gotta think about this. Like, all right, so they can beat the 5 seed.
Yes, and
No,
my
4
goodness,
6 seed, 6 seed. My bad.
was this a game? I mean, I really thought my overtime prediction was gonna be
I
correct.
thought it was too, but I'll explain what happens. Anyways,
Yes. So for the New York Giants, Daniel Jones went 30 for 42, 334 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Leading the team in rushing, Saquon Barkley, no surprise there, 14 carries, 84 yards, and the touchdown. Leading the team in receiving was Richie James. He had 8 receptions for 90 yards. One thing about Richie James, though, from this football game, he had a lot of drops.
he
My
did. I think he had like
he
3 or
I thought
4.
I thought he cost the Giants the game. But then Isaiah Hodgins, he had 8 receptions, 89 yards, and a touchdown. Leading in the team in defense on tackles is Fabian Morrow. He had 5 tackles. Tied with him was Dexter Lawrence, number 97. Jalen Smith, he had a sack. Landon Collins, he had a sack. Leonard Williams, he had a sack. Aziz Ajulari, he had a sack. I was just popping off of names right there. Graham Gano, he went 3 for 3 with on field goals, made a 55-yarder, but not the longest field goal.
Ah, yes.
I think that's a great segue into you.
Yeah, so for my Vikings, Kirk Cousins, 34 for 48, 299 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Not even 300 yards. Embarrassing.
It was 1 yard short, anyways.
Hey, Daniel Jones can throw, or not Daniel Jones. Mac Jones can throw it 56 yards, but not 55.
Yeah. Anyways, Dalvin Cook led the team in rushing, 14 carries and 64 yards. Pardon me. And then leading for receiving, Justin Jefferson, 12 receptions, 133 yards and a touchdown. And number 2 is T.J. Hawkinson, 13 receptions, 109 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wow, he had quite the game.
He
I didn't
had
even
36 fantasy points. He mossed 2 Giants defenders. It was amazing. Best pickup in Minnesota history. Like, best trade.
Wow.
Because obviously they said, oh, Irv Smith is going to come back. Get rid of Irv Smith. He's not useful. That was a waste of a second round pick for us. Adam Thielen, 1 catch for 6 yards. It was the very first throw by Kirk Cousins. So I was like, oh, okay, we're going to get this guy. We're going to get him involved more. Nah, he was super quiet. Which, basically, you can say that he's a number 4 receiver, Thielen. Because Jefferson is 1. Then you can debate that Hawkinson is going to be the 2nd receiver. Then you have KJ Osborne starting to step up more as the 3rd. And then you have Thielen.
I would still put Thielen either in the 2 or the 3 spot. Hawkinson and Thielen, would be, I don't know, debatable. I think he's still ahead of KJ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, so for defense, Duke Shelley, who is I believe was an undrafted free agent, or one of our very last round picks, 9 tackles, had a good game. Patrick Peterson had an interception. What else? Daniil Hunter had 2 sacks in this game. DJ Wanham had half a sack, and Caricius Tonga had half a sack. And then our big boy for kicking, Greg Joseph, 2 for 2, setting not only his personal record, but a franchise record for the Vikings with a 61-yard field goal to win the game 27-24 as time runs out.
My fantasy kicker.
Woo. You're welcome. That was like 7 points for you.
Yeah, I mean...
So, if you know anything about the Vikings, is that their kickers aren't very good.
In the playoff. I'm going to say in the playoffs.
Just in general. Because there's definitely... Because he's definitely missed a lot of extra points this year, so... I saw that we were going for it. I'm like, And, like, we almost didn't have to kick it because we threw a screen to Jefferson, and Jefferson almost took it to the house. He literally got tripped up, and
I want to talk to you about that play because I'm trying to remember who the guys setting the picks were for Jefferson, but they were across the line of scrimmage by at least 3 yards. It could have been a flag. They didn't throw the flag.
Illegal man downfield.
Ineligible
man.
There was one of them that was there, but then there were also 2 other wide receivers who were like on the bottom side of the screen.
Well, if they're receivers, they're just going out there. It's like almost like running a route. Then they're just blocking downfield.
I don't think the receivers were running routes.
Oh,
I watched the play a few times over and over, but it wasn't called.
But if they come in as an eligible receiver, then it's fine.
Yeah, like it's something that can get called. You don't see it happen that often. It could have been called. That's all I'm saying. But Justin Jefferson, like, he mainly did all the work there. So
yeah, 133 yards. Like I said before, he needs 204 to break Calvin Johnson's record, and 240
be considered for MVP. Like, he has to.
He has to, and people aren't, because at this point, it's just a freaking quarterback award. That's
Same
all
for
it
the
is.
MVP.
Yes, Baker Mayfield.
Award. Yes. Anyway, we'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this was a fantastic football game.
It was. It was a back-and-forth game. Obviously, Minnesota's defense needs to be better, which is why a little bit worried for them in the playoffs. Offense, I don't have a problem with. It's just their defense.
And
But
you and I were texting each other, like during I want to say the second half of this football
I
game,
think we were, yeah. It was
just
like,
like, wow, this is a good game.
mm-hmm.
And then once Minnesota had that game-winning drive and Greg Joseph made that field goal, I'm like,
I texted, it was like,
what?
he made it somehow. He somehow made it.
I was like, oh my God, man, this is insane. Like, I wanted this to go into overtime. Like, all right, this just seems like luck at this point, but like, I know
It's
it's
not
not luck.
luck.
It's
It's
mainly
not luck
skill
anymore.
based. It's mainly skill
It's
based. And
skill
once
at this
again,
point. You could say, like, the first couple of ones, like, the one against New Orleans where it was a double doink. That one you could say was luck. And, like, the one, like, with the Bears where Dancer stripped it off. It was like,
yes.
okay, that one could have been. Then, obviously, with Detroit, after we had lost to Philly, KJ basically had the walk-in, walk-off touchdown. But
Yeah.
at this point, you gotta realize that this is not luck anymore. This is something serious.
Who was the player on the defense who ended up punching the ball out of?
I
I think it
I
was
know who you're talking about.
Bellinger's
It was
arm, because that was an incredible play.
yes,
Like,
it
that is
was
strip skill based. Was it Sullivan?
no, no, it wasn't. It was Brian Asomaya, the second Asamoah.
That, yeah, that was a really incredible
And
play.
then to
In the
lead
game.
to our game winning drive, Josh Metellus had a blocked punt.
Yep.
That was also huge. So
That's where I thought, I was like, okay, the Vikings are gonna win this football game, and then the Giants just come storming back down the field, scoring that touchdown, and then converting that 2-point conversion, which I thought Patrick Peterson was gonna snake.
oh my gosh, I thought he was going to deflect it. He literally, it was a
Don't know
game
how
of
he didn't
inches. It
touch
was a
it.
game of inches. That's all it was. It was a game of inches.
Overall, this game was just really good. And I remember in the final drive, I was talking to my brothers and my family about like what was going on. I was just like, I swear to God, if the Vikings pull this off again, which I know they're going to, Matt's gonna be going crazy. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I just had another heart attack. Give me $11."
$11, 11-0 in one score games. And Kirk Cousins leads the NFL in most comebacks this year with eight game winning drives.
You should have made it so you got $1 and it like rose up every time that it happened. So like in game 1 you got $1, in game 2 you got $2.
Oh, I like that
So then
idea.
it goes all the way up to you
So
get $11.
yes, I like that better.
I'm
So
gonna
I
I'm gonna
got
add that up.
$11, $10, $9, yada yada yada.
11
Anyways,
plus. I'm gonna add it up.
yeah,
You can go ahead.
yeah. Moving on to our next game, I think we spent a little bit too much time with that. We have the Bills at the Bears. We both picked Buffalo, which kind of started rough for Buffalo. They were losing at one point, 13-7.
Yeah.
They ended up winning 35-13. So everything was well. I had them winning 28-22. You had them 35-24. So you got Buffalo score right.
I was feeling pretty good with the scores this week, and obviously I did really well this week again. But you would have $66.
I can't. Anyways, so Josh Allen, 15 for 26, 172 yards, and a pair of touchdowns and a pair of interceptions. Devin Singletary led the team with 12 rushes, 106 yards, and a touchdown. James Cook, 11 carries, 99 yards, and a touchdown. And Josh Allen, 6 carries for 41 yards and a touchdown. On the receiving end, Gabe Davis led this one. 3 receptions, 45 yards, and a touchdown. Dawson Knox, 3 receptions, 38 yards, and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs, 2 catches, 26 yards, was super quiet. Leading the team in tackles was Tremaine Edmonds with 5 tackles. Ed Oliver with a sack. AJ Epienza with a sack as well. And then Jaquan Johnson with an interception. And then for kicking, Tyler Bass was 0 for 1 on field goals, and he made 3 extra points.
And then as for the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields went 15 for 23, 119 yards and a touchdown. Nathan Peterman was also in the game. He went 3 for 5, 25 yards and an interception. Classic Nathan Peterman throwing interceptions. Leading the team in rushing, David Montgomery, 16 carries, 62 yards. In receiving, Velus Jones Jr., he led the team, 2 receptions, 52 yards. And Dante Pettis had the lone touchdown for the Bears, 2 receptions, 11 yards. And then for the defense, it was Joe Thomas. He led the team in tackles. Nicholas Morrow, he had an interception. Kyler Gordon also had an interception. And Jaquan Brisker, he had a sack in this one. And then for the kicking, Cairo Santos, he went 2 for 2 on field goals. And he made an extra point to score 7 more points for the Bears.
Yeah, so obviously this was a game that was on during the Vikings, so we did not see this. But
yeah, I didn't see any of
it was super scary for the Bills before.
I did hear that the Bills absolutely ran over the Bears. That was the main story of it.
Yeah, at first it was the Bears, because you look at the first half points, it was 10-6 Buffalo. 10-6 Chicago. So, yeah, it was
2 nines, I guess, or a tale of 2 halves. As a golfer would say, it's a tale of 2 nines. But
then you look at the scores in the second half. They scored 28 points in total.
You can kind of compare the Bills in this game to the Bengals when they played the Patriots.
A little bit, yeah.
It's vice versa.
Or you can compare this to Minnesota to Indianapolis. Except
they didn't score that many points.
They scored 30.
And a half.
No. They scored 33.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
and the Bills only scored 29. Losers.
Yes. And then
but the Bills, they got the momentum to carry with them. Heading into Cincinnati, going to be a heck of a game on Monday.
Oh, I am excited for that one.
That's all I can say. Yeah, so anything else you want to talk about with that one? Or
no, I think we'll power through this right now. Next one, we had the Commanders at the 49ers. We both picked 49ers. They won. I had them 28-24. Brendan had them 30-20. 49ers 37-20.
I got one of the scores right once
again. You did,
again,
and you were one score off. So this one was basically dominate. Going to halftime, it was 7-7. And then kind of the second half, it was a Niners show.
But 30 points in the second half.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that too. Anyways, so Taylor Heineke, 13 for 18, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns and interception. Carson Wentz, 12 for 16, 123 yards, and a touchdown. He is starting for the rest of the season. I forgot to say
Carson Wentz played?
Carson Wentz is starting for the rest of the year over Taylor Heineke.
All right, that's news to me.
I forgot to put that in there.
Hello.
It is the stupidest decision by Ron Rivera I've ever seen.
Well,
You're basically throwing your playoff hopes away.
Just by looking at the stats from the quarterbacks, I can see why he's starting him. But
I mean,
yeah, that's super weird. What the heck happened?
I don't know. Like, they almost is like, okay, so like there's no rushing touchdowns. So, anyways, we'll talk about this later. Brian Robinson led the team, 22 carries, 58 yards. Receiving, Scary Terry had 4 receptions, 77 yards and a touchdown. Jahan Dotson, 6 receptions, 76 yards and a touchdown. Curtis Samuel, 5 catches, 52 yards and a touchdown. On defense, leading the team in tackles was Jermaine Davis. Deron Payne had a sack. along with Benjamin St. Justy, and then Derek Forrest with an interception. James Smith-Williams with a sack. Then for kicking, Joey Sly had 2 extra points made.
They scored 20 if they scored 3 touchdowns and made an extra.
They made 2 extra points.
Oh, yeah, they made 2 extra points.
So he missed
He
missed his second one.
Got it. That makes more sense. So then on the 49ers, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, 15 for 22, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Ray McLeod led the team in rushing, 1 carry, 71 yards, and a touchdown. I'm going to guess it was on some jet sweep.
It was. It was an end around.
All right. Yep, that makes sense. Christian McCaffrey, he had 15 carries, 46 yards, and a touchdown. George Kittle, he's starting to find his way back into his old ways. 6 receptions, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, so whoever's got George Kittle on their fantasy team, feeling pretty good. Fred Warner led the team in tackles with 8, followed by Nick Bosa. He had 2 sacks in this one. Jimmy Ward, he had an interception. And as for the kicking, Robbie Gold went 3 for 3. And then he also made extra points.
Yeah. So, obviously, this is looking good for your Packers if, obviously, Carson Wentz is starting for the rest of the year. Because don't know why the hell they're starting frickin' Carson Wentz over Taylor Heineke.
And Rivera is secretly working for the Green Bay Packers. He's a spy.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
At that point, I want Minnesota to lose out because I don't want to play Green Bay in the playoffs.
We cracked the code. Wait, Minnesota could play Green Bay?
Yeah, if they're the 2 seed, they sneak in as the 7th seed.
Oh, shoot. You're right.
Yeah.
Packers would be riding a pretty good hot streak, too, if that happened.
Only to lose first round. Or lose in the NFC Championship game against the Niners.
Oh, my God. I do not want to see the Packers get that far, to be honest, because I know what's going to happen.
Yeah. But I'm pissed that Carson Wentz is starting.
That's news to me. I did not expect that to happen. I'm going to have to do my research on that a little bit. Like, I don't know if Heineke got injured or if they just decided to bench him.
I think they decided to bench him, so.
I mean, that's not as crazy as benching Derek Carr. Let's be real. No. But
for sure.
Derek Carr to the Commanders, ?
Yeah.
Jokes aside.
Or Jets. Because it's basically confirmed that they're done with Zach Wilson.
Max. So with that being said, on to the next game here. It's the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Eagles at the Cowboys. We have both picked the Cowboys, and they won without a hurt Jalen Hurts. Picked them 33-21. You had them 31-21. Cowboys won 40-34.
Pretty entertaining game.
It was.
Overall. You can go ahead and talk about the Philadelphia.
So, Minshew Mania, Gardner Minshew, went 24 for 40, 355 yards, a pair of touchdowns and a pair of interceptions. Miles Sanders led the team in rushing, 21 carries, 65 yards. Devonta Smith led the team in receiving, 8 receptions, 113 yards, and 2 touchdowns. TJ Edwards led the team with 8 tackles.
Wisconsin.
You must know everyone.
I know the Badgers pretty well.
Hassan Reddick had 2 sacks. Kazir White had half sack. Avonte Maddox had a sack. Josh Sweat had a sack and a half. Sweat had a sack and a half and a pick 6. And yeah. Hold on. Then Dominic Sue had half a sack and Brandon Graham had half a sack. Then Jake Elliott, 2 for 2. Longest was 47 yards and scored 10 points. This was the other game that I was watching.
This is a very high scoring game, and
It
I was
was.
very surprised with how well Gardner Minshew performed, mainly in the first half of the game. Second half was a little lacking. But then for the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, 27 for 35, 347 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Leading the team in rushing, it was Ezekiel Elliott, 16 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, aka CD compact disc, as my brother would like to say. He led the team in receiving, 10 receptions, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Michael Gallup, he also had a touchdown with 4 receptions and 36 yards. And then leading the team with tackles was a tie between Nashawn Wright and Donovan Wilson, each with 6 tackles. Darren Bland, he had an interception. Jaron Curse, he had an interception. And then Brett Maher, he went 4 for 4 on field goals, as well as converting extra points.
Yeah, so this game was. Sorry, I had to sit down for a while because I've been standing this whole time. So this game was actually a lot closer. I thought Dallas was going to have the upper hand, but I was wrong.
It looked like things were creeping Philadelphia's way in the first quarter. I was like,
It
oh,
was
dear
looking
God,
bad.
this is going to look like a blowout.
Yeah, Dak Prescott throws pick six. Like, oh gosh, like they seem pretty. They seem pretty good without Jalen Hurts.
I was going to say that the Cowboys seemed pretty Dallas Cowboy-ish by
They're going to be one and done.
Quarter.
The top 2 seeds in the AFC East, NFC East are going to be out.
We've seen this story before with the NFC East. Like, either their division is really good in the season,
or they're god
horrible. We almost had the same wording there, but then when they're really good, it seems like there's only at least or at most one team that performs well. Otherwise, they all get bad in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they realize, oh wait, we're the NFC East. We are supposed to suck.
Yeah, we're the NFC least, actually.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to. Anyways, I guess we'll go on to the next game. Raiders at the Steelers. We both picked Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won 13-10. I had them winning 21-20. You had them winning 24-17.
This was the immaculate reception game.
Yes, and the team that did it won it. So
I was expecting that the Steelers were going to come out firing, and I was expecting there to be some kind of crazy play
that went down really wasn't.
Just because of that moment and how they honored Franco Harris.
That was bad. Did you see what happened? They posted on their Twitter. They said like the Franco's Italian army or something.
What the hell?
It was like a flag of his number. It was like next to the Italian flag. It was like super bad or something. I can't remember. But yeah. For the Raiders, the Raiderless Derek Carr, 16 for 30, 174 yards, a touchdown and 3 interceptions. Josh Jacobs led the team in rushing, 15 carries, 44 yards. Darren Waller, welcome back, buddy. 4 receptions, 58 yards. Hunter Renfrow had 4 receptions, 48 yards, and a touchdown. Defense.
Devontae Adams, dude.
Yeah, Devontae Adams, 2 receptions, 15 yards. Luke Masterson led the team in tackles of 6. Denzel Perryman had an interception, and no one had sacks. And Daniel Carlson, 1 for 1, 40-yard field goal, and an extra point.
And then as for the winning Pittsburgh Steelers, the Steel Curtain, led by Kenny Pickett, he went 26 for 39, 244 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception. He's adjusting pretty well.
Yeah, he's getting better.
This team. And it's nice to see that the Steelers team, they still have a chance to make it in. I'm kind of shocked by it. Najee Harris led the team in rushing, 16 carries, 53 yards. And leading the team in receiving was Pat Fryermuth, 7 receptions, 66 yards. George Pickens had the only touchdown, 5 receptions and 57 yards for him. Then leading the team in defense with tackles, Robert Spillane with 7 of them. Cameron Hayward, 4 of his tackles, 2 of them were sacks. Then Micah Fitzpatrick, he had an interception in this one. Same for Cameron Sutton, and Arthur Mollett also had an interception. And then Alex Highsmith, he had a sack in this one. And then as for the kicking, Chris Boswell, he went 2 for 4. And those 2 misses he had were god awful misses. 2 for 4, 44 yards, and scored 7 points.
I will say, Thursday Night Football just concluded. Dallas wins 27-13. So a lot.
Congratulations, Cowboys. So they're now 12. Is it
4? 12 and 4, I believe.
12 and 4. That would make sense.
Yes, because this is week 17. They would have 16 games played.
Gosh, the Dallas Cowboys have 1 game left, and then the regular season's over for them.
Oh gosh.
The regular season's almost over.
I know.
What the heck?
I know. Time flies.
Time flies when you're watching football.
It really does. I remember I was watching the Bills and the Rams. But yeah, I didn't really watch this game. I was at family Christmas with my cousin, Hunter. So we really...
Hunter, if you're watching or listening.
Hello, Hunter. We miss you. I gotta find time to come up to River Falls. And so yeah, it was a fun time. So I didn't really watch it, but wasn't really much to watch.
Yeah, I watched most of this game, and I mean, the interceptions that Derek Carr threw, one of them towards the end of the game was like actually really bad. Like he had the right idea on the play.
He had the right read.
Yeah, like he had pressure on him and everything, so he had to like go up into the pocket, and he just like threw the ball downfield, but he outthrew his receiver by like 15 yards.
Oh.
And then it just picked off. I think it was Hunter Renfrow who was open. But yeah, as for that, congrats to the Steelers on winning. They're now 7-8. Still have a chance of making the playoffs.
Still have a chance for
has never had a losing record.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah. So this could be his first season, it could be not. So
everyone thought this was gonna be his first season, and all of a sudden, the Steelers are still in the playoff hunt, and they're 7 with a rookie quarterback.
Yes. So I guess we'll move on to our next game.
Yes, sir.
Which was Packers at Miami with a second half brain dead Tua. I had picked Miami. You had picked Green Bay. I picked Miami 30-17. You picked Green Bay 27-18. Packers win 26-20. And you said the Packers would run over Miami, and I don't think they really did. No, they did not.
They didn't really run it that much, honestly.
No,
they threw the ball a lot more than they
did. But I'll let you take it away for the Packers, and I'll do the Dolphins.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you're welcome, sir.
As for my Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, 24 for 38, 238 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. I'm kind of mad about his interception.
That should have been pass interference. Anyone can say that was pass interference.
There were a lot of calls in the game that should have been made for the Packers, but weren't. But anyways, A.J. Dillon, he led the team in rushing, 11 carries, 36 yards, and a touchdown. And then Aaron Jones, he only had 6 carries for 25 yards. But at the beginning of the game, it looked like Aaron Rodgers was going to lead the team in rushing yards. As for receiving, Alan Lazard, he led the team in receiving, 5 receptions, 61 yards. Mercedes Lewis, I brought up this guy's name last week before this game. I don't know if I said he was going to do something. I don't think I did. I did say something about him, and then you said something like, he's only had like one receiving touchdown in this season. Speak of the devil, 2 receptions for 32 yards and a touchdown. And then for the defense, Adrian Amos, he led the team in tackles with 9 of them. And then Preston Smith, he had a sack. Same for Jaron Reed. Then Jair Alexander, he had an interception. Rasul Douglas had the game-winning interception. Devondre Campbell had an interception.
Mind you, all these interceptions were in the second half.
Second half. Yes.
It was like 3 consecutive drives that he threw an interception, so.
But to use the excuse that Tua is brain dead, I get it. But at the same time, I mean, that's the coaching decision. If he ends up doing that multiple times, make a change. They didn't. They screwed themselves. Mason Crosby went 4 for 4 on field goals, scoring 14 points for the Packers. And Mason Crosby has actually played the most consecutive games in Green Bay Packers history.
Passing Brett Favre.
Yes. I believe he's at 200.
No, I think it was like 452, 453.
Holy crap. I thought it was like 253.
Maybe it was. Maybe I'm just over-exaggerating.
I'm going to look it up. You can talk about the Miami
Dolphins. In this one, Tua has another concussion, Tagovailoa. 16 for 25, 310 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. For rushing, Raheem Mostert led the team 8 carries, 45 yards. He did have a crucial fumble in the second half. Receiving-wise, Jalen Waddle, 5 receptions, 143 yards, and a touchdown, which was an 84-yard catch and run. Tyreek Hill, 4 catches, 103 yards. Leading the team in tackles, Javon Holland and Kader Kahu had the interception off of Rodgers. Landon Roberts had a sack. Eric Rowe had a sack. That is all. And then kicking, Jason Sanders, 2 for 3 for field goals, longest was 46 yards, and he scored 8 points.
You knew that I had to tune into this game. This was my Green Bay Packers.
Oh, yeah. This was the game that everyone was watching on Christmas because, well, we live in Wisconsin. We don't have much of a choice of what we watch here.
Absolutely. You know it. So the Mason Crosby record, 256.
256, all right. Not 400, good Lord.
456, that'd be insane.
Yeah.
Like, that would be an NFL record by a lot.
I think Adam Vinatieri has it.
I'm going to look that up. But yeah, Tua turned the ball over. That was his nickname in the second half. It looked like the Dolphins were just going to pop off in this football game, and then the Packers made adjustments. You can say part of that is because of the Tua concussion, but another part of it was that they did end up making their adjustments. I was pretty happy with the way the Packers played. I wish they would have ran the ball more because, I mean, they only carried the ball many times.
Not a lot.
With their top two running backs, they ran the ball 17 times. I was really thinking the Packers would run a more balanced offense, but they didn't. They just relied on Aaron Rodgers the whole time, who, I mean, he missed a few throws, but, I mean, there were also a few drops from the Packers.
I think his thumb was affecting him, so.
But I was pretty happy with how the Packers did, and I think this momentum can carry forward, and the game on Sunday is going to be a good one. That's
I just saw on Thursday Night Football, Detroit's out of the playoffs. If they lose and Washington wins, they're out of the playoffs.
So they didn't say anything about the Packers.
No,
so
I'm looking. They're having the thing scroll down. They said that the AFC South is going to come down to the last game, regardless if the Jags lose or not. So
there's a bowl game on right now.
Oh, who's playing?
The Alamo Bowl.
Oh yeah,
Um,
probably. Every
that's an
college team
awesome thing.
every team has a college. Every
I don't know why I said Alamo. It's Alamo.
Anyways,
Um,
every college gets a bowl game now.
oh my gosh. When I was at B Dubs today, sorry we're going a little off track here.
Oh good.
Um, one of the bowl games on, I think it was the Cheez It Bowl. And
Jesus.
I mean, the Cheez It Bowl has existed for a while now, but
Oh.
the teams playing were Oklahoma, who had a 6-6 record against who was it was a ranked team. There's a ranked team, Florida State. It's Florida State. It was a
Oh.
6-6 team against like an 8-3 team in a bowl game. I'm like, what the hell are they doing here? Like, why would you match up a 6-6 team with an 8-3 team? Just doesn't make any sense to me. But that's my little tangent about it. Anyways.
Yes. Yeah, they're definitely basically there's a bowl game for everything now. You just gotta get over a 500 record in college.
Did you hear that the Rose Bowl is on January 2nd?
Yeah, I saw that. That's not right. It should be. Wait, that's on a Monday. No, that's not. Yeah, that's on a Monday.
There's a lot of like schools that go back to school.
Oh.
On that day, so they're gonna be missing these bowl games. And typically, how I grew up and how you grew up, the Rose Bowl was like the New Year's game. Like this signified like Happy New Year. Like it's time to start the year off fresh with the Rose Parade, and then following the parade, you got the Rose Bowl. But nope, the Rose Bowl is on January 2nd. Like what the hell?
So bad.
I feel bad for high school and middle school and elementary school students who can't watch that game.
Anyways, I think we should be done for a little tangent. Going on to our next game.
Yes.
The pathetic Broncos who fired Nathaniel Hackett. And I forgot about that.
In the news.
And the Los Angeles Rams. I had the Broncos at this one. I was very wrong. You were very right. I had the Broncos 20-17. You had the Rams 17-14. Rams won 51-14.
51. This game was on Nickelodeon, folks. Patrick Star roasted.
It's an intraception. Oh, it's an intraception. Bro, you just got dissed by fucking Patrick Star.
I lost my shit when I listened to
that. I said that to you. I'm like, bro, there's no way. But
multiple people send that video to me. I was like, okay, this must be something crazy because I got it from you. I got it from Ben. I ended up getting it from my roommate Zach. I got it from my roommate Tyler. Like
you got it from everyone.
I literally did get this from everybody, and I absolutely loved it. Nickelodeon, please do more NFL football games.
I remember the one where it was the Saints. It was the Saints and the Bears. It was Cordero Patterson. It was like, hey, yo, what the fuck? And he, like, picks it up cleanly. I'm like, oh, no. But, yeah, they also did like the thing where they picked up so Baker Mayfield won MVP, which is Nickelodeon's most valuable player award, basically. And so it was funny because they did like a CGI where there was like a blimp and they picked him up, they took him over. And the announcer says like, oh yeah, we gotta give the Broncos a chance, so we're just gonna take him away. I'm like, bro! Why do you gotta diss something like that?
Because they allowed 51 points. They did so bad. This football game was an abomination. Russell Wilson, I still believe, since he's tied with his bathrooms in his house for touchdown passes, the tie goes to the bathrooms. My God, dude.
No, so anyways, it was so bad. And did you see that they put like the crying filter on all the remaining Broncos fans up on a jumbotron.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, like it was so they were roasting the hell out of them.
Bro, I cannot believe just how broken the Denver Broncos are. Like, I've told you this story multiple times. When I went to Denver to watch Russell Wilson
They looked
at
good.
the training camp, they looked insane. Russell Wilson missed one or two passes in the camp. It was something like I've not seen before. Like, I've been to Packers training camps where I've seen Brett Favre play as well as Aaron Rodgers, and I've seen them miss more passes than what Russell Wilson missed in that training camp. I probably have a lot of videos that I could send you of what I saw, and you'd be like, no way this shit's real. Like, if you compare what they did in training camp to what you see on screen now,
It's a
oh
night
God,
and day
it
difference.
is an absolute night and day difference. It is a complete nightmare on TV. But you can go ahead and
Yeah,
talk about
so obviously the
Russ and his coaching.
Broncos had fired Nathaniel Hackett right after this game. So,
I kind of
anyways,
hope he goes back to Green Bay. He was a great offensive coordinator for us.
well, clearly wasn't a good head coach.
Yeah, he's a massive
So for
head coach.
passing, Russell Wilson 15 for 27, 214 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. And then Brett Rippon 4 for 8, 45 yards, and a pick six. Leading the team in rushing, Latavius Murray 8 for 34 yards. Receiving, you had Jerry Jeudy 6 receptions, 117 yards. And then Greg Dulcich 4 receptions, 39 yards, and a touchdown. Alex Singleton went off at 14 tackles. No sacks or interceptions, and Brandon McManus was 2 for 2, 54-yard field goal, and 6 points.
Go score correct. Let's go. Um, as for the Los Angeles Rams, Baker Mayfield, he went 24 for 28, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did get the Nickelodeon's most valuable player. The defense got snubbed of that award. Keep
Oh
in
my
mind.
gosh, they
Also,
had 4
Cam Akers got
interceptions.
snubbed.
Cam Akers finally did something.
Yeah, Cam Akers, he actually popped off. He ran the ball 23 times for 118 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, fantasy owners, if I had him on the bench, that kind of sucks.
I don't even want to know how many points Dalton Schultz had.
Oh, from this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna regret. Hey, at least he forgot to take out Derek Henry, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, that's pretty good for you.
He had 24 points.
I mean,
Damn it.
That is pretty good. But like,
That's super good.
Derrick Henry could have had 24 points.
Yeah.
So like, you could have saved yourself on that one. But then, anyways, the Rams who led the team in receiving, Tyler Higbee, 9 receptions, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had himself a heck of a game as well. And then let's talk about this defense. I'm about to pop off some names for you. Bobby Wagner, 5 tackles and an interception. Jalen Ramsey, an interception. Laurie Murchison, 4 tackles, 2 sacks. Michael Hochet, 1.5 sacks. Jonah Williams, half a sack. Leonard Floyd, a sack. Kobe Durant, 2 interceptions, one of which was an amazing catch. So
did he have the pick six?
I think he was. So
yes, because Ramsey wasn't.
It wasn't Ramsey.
No, his was in
Ramsey
the end zone.
Yep. Ramsey had one of the first interceptions, I believe.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner.
Bobby Wagner, I think, had the first one. That was Kobe Durant had the first one. Then there's a player on the Seahawks whose name is Kobe Bryant.
This is Kobe Durant.
Shut up. So I think it was Durant, Wagner, Ramsey, and then Durant again.
Was it Wagner who got the pick when Patrick Starr roasted him?
Yes. It was like, oh, it's
Uh,
an interception.
Interception. And then yeah, so that's the defense of the Rams. They absolutely popped off. Wait, no, they had 2 pick sixes, didn't they?
No, they had one.
I thought they had two.
No.
I
Bobby
could have
Wagner's returned it
sworn.
inside the 15, but that was it.
Okay. All right. So maybe the defense didn't get snubbed. The real person who got snubbed of the MVP was Cam Akers. And then Matt Gay, he went 3 for 3, made a 55-yard field goal to score 15 points for the Rams out of their 51. And Matt Gay had more points than the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. Okay, so on Thursday Night Football, they're going over the Packers and Vikings game. Minnesota's 1 game behind for Philly in the 1 seed. Packers 3-game winning streak. Are you fucking kidding me?
What?
Okay, maybe I can go back and try to pause it because they went over Green Bay's scenario, but they were just leaving. Okay, Green Bay can be eliminated from playoff contention with a loss and a win by either Detroit or Washington. So
they have to lose, and then both of those teams win when the Packers lose.
Either or. So if the Packers lose and Detroit or Washington wins, you guys are out of the playoffs.
Yep.
It should be interesting because I think you guys we're a later game. I know Detroit is an early game.
Detroit's at noon.
Detroit's at noon, so that'll be super interesting.
I think Washington also might be at noon.
It might be. But anyways, going on to our next game as we're almost about to wrap up. Buccaneers at Arizona. We both had the Buccaneers. I had them 28-14. You had them 24-13. Buccaneers win in overtime 19-16. And Tom Brady, 32 for 48, 281 yards, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Leonard Fournette led the team in rushing, 20 carries for 72 yards. Also led the team in receiving, 9 receptions for 90 yards. He had like a 74-yard screen pass. Ricard White, 4 receptions, 17 yards, and a touchdown. Levante David, 7 tackles. Anthony Nelson had a sack. And then Keanu Neal had an interception. And Ryan Suckup, 4 for 4, 42-yard field goal, and 12 points.
Yeah, this Buccaneers team is kind of like...
I wouldn't put them out, even though they have a losing record and is in the playoffs. I'm not gonna put off playoff Tom Brady.
Exactly. I would be the same reason on that, but to play the way they did against a pretty bad football team and a third-string quarterback, I mean, yeah. So Trace McSorley
throwing on a dime, like I ain't even trying. Just a kid from Pryor. He's wearing number 9.
Trace McSorley.
They can't touch my deep ball.
24 for 45, 217 yards, and an interception. Andy Lee also played at quarterback.
Wait, he did?
He threw 1 pass for 4 yards. Didn't know either.
The more you know, I guess.
Thanks, Google. Then leading the team in rushing, James Conner. He had a pretty good day. 15 carries, 79 yards, and a touchdown. Then in receiving, Greg Dort had receptions. Greg Dortch had 10 receptions, 98 yards. That's pretty much all she wrote.
D-Hop, though, might have been the reason why they lost this game.
Yeah, 1 reception for 4 yards. He did not get targeted that often. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Jalen Thompson led the team in tackles with 9, followed by Ben Nyman and Budda Baker, each with 6. And then Marco Wilson, he had 2 interceptions, so he had both.
He almost had a hat trick. He almost had a third one from Brady.
Saw that. And I feel like that could have possibly been a huge shift in that football game. And then Matt Prater, he went 3 for 3, made a 56-yard field goal. This game, like we said, went to overtime, and it was a pretty boring overtime, if you
Yeah,
ask me.
Cardinals got the ball. They went 3-and-out, and then Tom Brady is Tom Brady, so he went down. They got inside the 20, and they kicked it on third down because they were losing like 2 to 3 yards per play by running it. So
Cardinals were up by 10 with like 7 minutes left
yeah, they
in the
were.
game. But then, as per usual, the Tom Brady decides to come back, and for some reason, the Cardinals decide to be stupid on offense and let the Buccaneers come back. Like, it's like every single story for Tom Brady, to be honest with you. For some reason, the other team decides to be stupid with the ball when they're winning by a little bit with a little bit of time left, and then they just choke and let them come back.
I
So,
mean, it's the Cardinals' defense. I mean, nothing too special about it besides J.J. Watt and Buda Baker.
yeah, if J.J. Watt could have gotten a sack on Tom Brady, that would have been
If you
that would
listen,
have been
if you listen
okay.
to his mic'd up game, it was funny to listen to him
I'll have to listen to that.
because
Is it
Tom Brady.
somewhere on
Yeah, I think it's on
YouTube?
YouTube or on Instagram. If he There's a time where Tom Brady does a QB sneak, and he's like, he got it. And he knew that J.J. Watt was mic'd up, so he goes over and bends over and speaks into it. He's just like, yeah, those are the hardest ones to stop. So,
Nice. So
yeah.
then, anything else from that game you'd like to add?
No, sir.
Or go to the Monday night football game, which was a snooze fest.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really excited happened here. I mean, it was the Colts and Chargers, so I guess I'll start with the Colts. I mean, not the Colts. Chargers won 20-3. Nothing big there. I said Chargers would win 28-20. You said had them at 33-28. They won 20-3.
Dallas was 13.5-point favorites against the Titans. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
No, you
Anyways,
good. Justin Herbert, 24 for 31, 235 yards and an interception. Austin Eckler led the team in rushing, 18 carries, 67 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Keenan Allen, 11 receptions, 104 yards.
got snubbed of that touchdown. I mean, he was out of
I
bounds.
didn't watch it really.
He caught a pass from Herbert. It was a pretty nice play, and then he ended up tiptoeing down the sideline, but they called him out of bounds on it. But it was pretty darn close. I mean, if they called that one Raiders play a touchdown against the Patriots, I mean, you could have called Keenan Allen's reception a touchdown.
Anyways, Michael Davis, 5 tackles and interception. Morgan Fox, 2 sacks. Kenneth Murray, a sack. Drew Tranquil, a sack. Kyle Van Noy, a sack. Derwin James, who got ejected after the super dirty hit, or a very loud hit, had a sack. I mean, an interception. Holy shit, I forgot. Khalil Mack is on the Chargers. He got a sack.
Yup, he's on the Chargers.
Chris Rump, the second, had a sack. Asante Samuel Jr. had an interception.
Number 57's got a pretty cool name.
Do I want to know it? No. Oh, okay. Now that you pointed it out, I gotta say it. Aman Agbong Bemaja.
Dude, we need to do something where it's like
Hardest,
most complicated names in NFL or like in sports, and then we try to pronounce them. And it's like a game where if you pronounce it right, you get a point. If you get it wrong, like you don't get a point.
Perfect. And then Dicker the kicker, Cameron Dicker, 2 for 2. Longest was 24 yards and 8 points.
All right.
Take it away.
Yes. So, Indianapolis Colts. Woo. NFL.com has them ranked as the worst team.
They do. They deserve it.
4-10-1. Nick Foles, he started for the Colts above Matt Ryan. He went 17 for 29, 143 yards, and 3 interceptions. What a day. Um, and then as for rushing, Zach Moss led the team, 12 carries, 65 yards. And receiving, not really anything to get excited about here.
Oh, good lord.
Jelani Woods, 3 receptions, 43 yards. Michael Pittman Jr., 4 receptions, 39 yards. And then for the defense, not really much to really get excited about either. Bobby Okereke, he led the team with tackles with 7 of them. Rodney Thomas, he had the interception off of Herbert. 1.5 sacks for DeForest Buckner. 1.5
There you
sacks
go.
for. Yes, thank you, man. 1.5 sacks for Deo Odegingbo. And, yep, Chase McLaughlin had the lone field goal and points. 46-yard field goal from Chase,
Yes.
which made the score 20-3 as the Chargers take home the W. And then as for that,
we go into the current playoff standings.
I say we go into our records after
Oh,
that
yeah.
week.
I kind of forgot about that.
Drum roll, please. Matt, you have a 56-31 record. Drum roll again. Brenden, I have a 60-27 record.
Yes, I'm 4 games behind. To be fair,
Go Brenden.
I went 11-5, which is still pretty damn good. But you just did better. You went 13-3.
You have been going insane these past few weeks.
You have been
in my score predictions.
This is my best week since my 2 losing weeks. I have went like 7-9 one week, and then I had like 9-7. So not a good couple of stretch of weeks for me, but now this is pretty good for me. Getting back to my usual. Just gotta make you lose some stuff.
Lose. How are you going to do that? Are you going to call up some NFL teams and say, hey,
Yeah, I'm gonna call up the
just
Brady.
throw some interceptions?
Hey, Rodgers, I know Brendan's gonna pick the Packers, so can you throw a couple of picks for us? Like straight to Harrison Smith.
We'll find out if I pick the Packers on Saturday, which will be the next episode of Down on the Sidelines.
Yes.
But, yep, as for that, so
we have record-wise
the playoffs. I don't know what that transition really was.
I thought we were gonna go into the playoff standings, but you said a records. I'm like, oh shit, too early.
Yeah, I don't really know what that transition was there. We can talk about the playoffs and the playoff picture.
Yeah, so I don't know if it has updated since.
Even if it did update.
Yeah, it updated, but nothing's changed.
Really
Nothing has changed. Yeah, so I guess we'll start with the AFC. 1 seed is Buffalo. 2 seed is not Cincinnati. Kansas City. 3 seed is Cincinnati. 4th seed is Jacksonville, as we kind of discussed earlier. Baltimore is the 5, and Chargers 6, and Miami is 7.
My God, dude, the Chiefs play the Broncos this coming week.
I know. So the Chargers are in. They clinched the wild card. The Bills and the Chiefs clinched their divisions.
Yes.
And then the Bengals and the Ravens have clinched a playoff spot, but not a division yet.
Correct. And I got a feeling the AFC North, like I've said the past 4 or 5 weeks, it's going to come down to the last game between the Bengals and the Ravens. But yeah. So I thought the Steelers were still in the hunt. Yeah, they are still in the hunt. So there are other teams that are on the bubble too, who are the Patriots, the Jets, the Steelers. the Titans and the Raiders, but let's be real here. The Raiders, they play the 49ers without Derek Carr. So that's going to likely be an L. The Titans, they already lost. The Steelers, they play the Ravens. That's going to be a pretty important game this week for them. And then the Jets, they play the Seahawks. So that game
That's a
has some
huge game
serious
because basically
playoff implications.
whoever loses that Jets game
Is
is
done.
done.
Yes. And then the Patriots, they play the Dolphins this coming week. So then, I mean, for the teams on the bubble, I still think there's a legitimate chance for. I think there's a chance for the Steelers to get in. Not gonna lie. And then the Patriots, of course, they have a chance because if they can beat the Dolphins, I mean, they'll be right back in it. But then if they lose, I think they're done.
Not entirely sure, but
I believe so. Because what would the 7 seed be? The Dolphins right now?
yes, Dolphins hold the 7th seed right now.
Yeah. So if the Dolphins hold the 7 seed, yeah. The
Remember when the
Patriots would be done
Dolphins
if
were
they
the 2
lost.
seed at one point?
Yeah, and I had the Dolphins in my top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck happened to that, to be
Neither do
honest
I.
with you. Things are just kind of falling apart for them. Most of the 3 out of the 4 teams in the AFC East, things have fallen apart for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they used to all have winning records like 3 weeks ago, and now only 2 of them do. Tale
Yeah.
of 2 halves, I guess. Once
Exactly.
again. So that's the picture for the AFC. And then if we're looking at the NFC playoff picture, of course, we have the Philadelphia Eagles maintaining the number 1 spot at 13-2. Then the Vikings, they're at number 2 at 12-3. At number 3 is the San Francisco 49ers, who are 11-4 and will likely get the easiest victory of their life this coming week. Watch them lose.
If they lose and Brock Purdy plays like, oh wait, I'm a 7th round draft pick.
Yeah, watch them lose. That would shake a lot of things up. Especially give Vegas a chance to get in the playoffs. Derek Carr would be freaking pissed.
Yeah.
I mean, he already is pissed. And then at the number 5 seed, the Dallas Cowboys, 12-4. And then the teams who are in the hunt, there's still 3 playoff berths available. The Buccaneers, they're likely going to win their division.
Well, if they lose against Carolina, I think
all the Buccaneers have to do is win a game.
Yeah, they're winning in. If they beat Carolina, they're in.
Yeah, the Buccaneers have the easiest way of getting in.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of these NFC teams. Then at 6, it's the Giants, who are 8-6-1. Then at 7's the Washington Commanders. I don't know why on NFL.com it just says Washington. Like, where's the Commanders thing on the bottom?
Oh,
of it?
you're looking at
on NFL.com too.
No, I'm on ESPN.
Is there a Commanders thing underneath Washington?
Yeah, it says Washington Commanders.
Yeah, like on go on NFL.com right now. Look up the playoff picture, and the Washington Commanders. It only says Washington, so it's like there's still the football team.
Oh, it says Washington football team.
No, it just says Washington. Compared to the rest of the teams that have their full names or the second part of their name.
Oh yeah, because that's just their logo. Because they use like their official thing. Because if you look at the Chiefs, it just says Chiefs. If you look at Bills, it just says Bills. Like that's Washington's thing. Like it's like if Lions, Patriots, Jets, Packers, Steelers, Saints, Raiders.
The second part of the name. Washington's the first part of the name. I just find that interesting. Anyways, on the bubble, we got the Seahawks. They play the Jets this week. Then the Lions, they play the Bears. The Packers, they play the Vikings. And the Panthers, the Buccaneers. And then the Saints, they play the Eagles. So We got 8 teams who are eliminated from playoff contention, and we still have 24 who are in it.
Yes, and all 3 of them, all 4 are still in the race for the NFC South. So
Ridiculous. Madness.
literally all within 1 game of each other.
Yeah, the Buccaneers are going to take it. The rest of them are going to say goodbye.
Yeah.
So that's likely going to happen. And then if you want to talk about what matchups we think are going to happen, we can do that, and then we can close up this episode.
All right, let's start with the AFC. Chiefs versus Miami. Give me
Chiefs.
Not Cincinnati. Chiefs. Yeah. Chargers at Cincy. Give me Cincy.
Cincy.
Baltimore at Jacksonville. Give me Baltimore. You say Jacksonville?
Give me Jacksonville. They're hot right now.
I'll take Baltimore because they'll have Lamar Jackson back.
All right. So then both of our lowest seeds in the AFC are like either the Ravens or the Jaguars.
So I have the Ravens playing the Bills. And I have the Bengals playing the Chiefs.
And I got the Bengals. So I got the Bills and the Bengals.
I got the Bills and the Bengals too.
And they play each other this week.
They do, so...
I think not.
Huh?
Coincidence? I think not, that they're playing each other.
AFC, this is a preview of the AFC Championship match. Mark my words.
It definitely is. I
don't know.
The Bengals getting it, man.
I don't know.
An AFC Championship game.
Oh, that's gonna be hard. I'm gonna have to take Buffalo.
Okay.
You're gonna go take Cincinnati.
I am taking Cincinnati.
Bandwagon.
And I'm sticking with Cincinnati. I've had them as my Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
I gotta stick with it. All right. So then NFC, the Minnesota Vikings. They would host Commanders.
Yep.
Give me the
Minnesota.
Vikings.
Give me Minnesota.
The 49ers.
San Fran and the Giants. San Fran. And then
the Buccaneers hosting the Cowboys.
You know what?
Gosh damn it.
Give me the Cowboys. Give me the Cowboys.
Dude, we switch off on this one every freaking week.
Give me the Cowboys. I mean...
God damn it. No. Buccaneers. Give me the Buccaneers.
All right, so...
Once again, the same exact thing. So we'd have the Eagles against the Buccaneers or the Cowboys.
And then San Fran against Minnesota. God damn.
Yep.
See, that game's all going to come down to Brock Purdy. That's what it's going to come down to.
All right. So for this one now, I'm going to say... Okay, so for the Eagles, we'll go with the Eagles one first.
Well, it's basically picking which one of the lesser two evils. I'm picking... Oh, gosh. I don't want none of them to win. I want this game going until 3 o'clock in the morning and they have to call it off. There's no winner. That's what I want to happen because I don't want any of those teams to win. I definitely don't want the Eagles.
3 o'clock in the morning? Dude, that would be such a weird football
game. Like 15 overtimes. Give me Dallas. Give me Dallas.
I'm taking Philly.
And then,
gosh, this one's tough too.
I know, because it's like, it's going to come down to Brock Purdy. I feel like once it hits playoffs, Purdy might crack under pressure. Give me Minnesota. It's in Minneapolis. It's in U.S. Bank.
Yeah, I would take the Vikings too. Oh, yep. Give me the Vikings. I think Justin Jefferson's just that good.
He's that good. We honestly know what he's capable of. No matter what top. Well, Darius Slay locked him down, but that was
how bad Kirk Cousins plays. It's just
well, as long as it's not a Monday night game, then we're fine.
As long as Justin Jefferson's healthy for you guys stand a chance.
See, I think we'll bench him once he hits that record. So
you better hope he doesn't hit that record against the Packers because I think that's a curse to bench a player for a week and then you go to the playoffs. I just think it's yeah. So yeah, I'll take the Vikings. So I got the Eagles and the Vikings.
That's like in 2017.
I would take the Eagles.
Now I have Minnesota and Dallas.
Hey, we all know how that one went.
Give me Minnesota. Give me Minnesota.
Holy shit.
So we're having the game of the year recap.
So you would have the Bills and the Vikings.
I would have the Bills and the Vikings.
And I got the Eagles and the Bengals in the Super Bowl.
Okay, for yours, let's start with yours because yours is pretty good. Yeah, this your Super Bowl matchup.
To go over this matchup like really quick. So it's Joe Burrow against Jalen Hurts, and then as for like the receiving core, it would be Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins. I got all three of them that time.
Attaboy.
I'm learning. And then for the Eagles, it would be A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. Who are the other receivers on that football team?
A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith.
They're like the main two.
Yeah, Gainwell, I think, is one.
Yeah, we're just gonna go with the main two. So I get the Bengals in that advantage. As for running the football, it's Joe Mixon against Miles Sanders. I would take Miles Sanders.
I'd take Mixon
against the line of the Bengals. Teams have been running it all over Cincinnati this year, but teams have also been running all over Philadelphia. I don't know. That one would be pretty close. I'm gonna take the Cincinnati Bengals in this game.
All right, so your Super Bowl champs are going to be the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep.
All right. So, I think I agree with you. I would take Cincinnati as well.
In mine?
Yes, I would take Cincinnati over Philly.
All right.
So that for me, it's game of the year rematch: the Vikings and the Bills. Obviously,
gender neutral stadium.
Gender neutral. These are my top.
A gender
neutral stadium. We were gonna make so many people mad, but a neutral stadium.
I watched this TikTok. It was Mr. Beast getting canceled because of his 100 boys against 100 girls.
That shit's stupid. Anyways, back to football.
That's pretty funny.
Back to football. Bills have the quarterback advantage. Receiver advantage obviously goes to Minnesota along with the running back. It's basically Dalvin Cook versus Devin Singletary. You get Cook going, the offense is pretty much unstoppable. Obviously, we know what Justin Jefferson is capable of.
I know who you're gonna pick.
And then tight ends, give it to TJ.
I know who you're gonna pick.
The defense is give it to Buffalo. Obviously, kicker is Buffalo. Special teams Buffalo. I'm gonna pick Buffalo.
The kicker is Buffalo. What the hell are you on? Tyler Bass missed his field goal as his pass read, as freaking Greg Joseph made all of them.
I still don't. You said it yourself. Minnesota Vikings playoff. They miss kicks.
The Super Bowl. You got the.
I'm picking the Bills over the Vikings.
Oh.
I'm picking the Bills over the Vikings. They're going to get their revenge.
How could you pick the Bills over the Vikings after all that explanation, dude?
Listen, their defense is what's going to save them.
It seemed like you were debating on the defense. But then you were like, obviously go with the Bills. But you were clearly debating on whose defense was going to perform.
No! It's no question that Buffalo's defense is so much better than Minnesota's.
Dude, I honestly don't know about that because, oh my gosh, the Vikings, they've come up with incredible defensive plays. And, I don't know, dude. I feel like somebody could argue that one with you.
I don't know. Yeah,
And you
Bob.
got the Bills. Okay. I thought you were picking the Vikings clearly.
No, we're gonna go 0-5, and we're gonna have another ring pop meme. But no matter what, one of these franchises is walking out with a trophy.
At least one.
Yep.
To your thought, not mine.
Yeah. You're actually
Cincinnati's
no. Cincinnati will walk out with one.
I thought Cincinnati has one.
Nope, they have never been to a Super Bowl. I don't think. No, never mind. No. Shut up. They're 0-1. They're 0-1.
Yeah, Cincinnati's never been to the Super Bowl.
Shut up. I was like, oh shit, they just went there last year.
It's recent Super Bowl.
Shut up.
It's been that kind of day here.
It's been that type of night. Yeah.
We've been on this.
This is 2.5 hours. We need to end this.
And I'm having the most fun in this episode right now.
Okay, we're ending. I don't give a shit. Let's sign us off.
All right. So that's going to do it for us here on Down on the Sidelines. I am Brenden Retzloff, a.k.a. 99 Bretts, Bretts.golf. And I got the Cincinnati Bengals winning the Super Bowl, and I will stick with it. As for, I will bring it over to the away sideline.
Yes.
Take it over.
I will take it over. I am Matt Crowley, a.k.a. Matty Icy. And I stand by my point that the Buffalo Bills will win the Super Bowl against the Minnesota Vikings. And we will.
Cincinnati Bengals have not been to a Super Bowl.
Shut the fuck up. I know where you live.
The fact that you got really close to your freaking microphone to say that. Oh my god.
No.
All right, folks.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it for
also,
us.
this is the last week of Thursday Night Football and Monday Night Football. So, from here now on out, the podcast will be a little bit more stretched out. Not stretched out in length. Obviously, this one's 2.5 hours. But as in releasing these will be a little bit more spread out because we won't be such of a time crunch to get episodes out.
Yes.
So we would have Sunday to Sunday, not Sunday to Thursday. Or, Monday from Thursday. So we would only have 3 days to really record.
We'll get a lot more time to think things over and through. And also, special guest appearing on Wednesday. Stay tuned for that, as well as I hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas because we filmed our last episode right before Christmas, and it's December 29th currently. And we'll see you guys right before New Year's for a New Year's Eve episode.
And we'll see you back on the sidelines on New Year's Eve. Signing out is Matty Icy and Brendini. Have a nice night, guys.
Peace out, everybody.